Welcome back. You know what time it is. Trash Talking with the Old Heads. What's happening? We
Let's
in
go.
here again with some special guests today. First of all, I got my boy G's. What's happening, G?
You know what it is, baby. You know what I say. No excuses. Play like a champion. We got
And
we
I'm gonna
got
take
two
Terry
rookies.
part since he out today. Why play like a champion when you can be a champion?
No, we leaving
I'll
that
say it
out, man.
for him.
We
You know what I'm
leaving that
saying? Why
out.
play like a
Leaving that
champion when you
out.
can be a champion?
He definitely not playing like a champion today. He's sick.
I got to say it for him. You know what I'm saying? Why
It's supposed
play
to be
like
the
a
flu
champion
game.
when you can
This
be a
supposed to-
champion?
This is
But, hey,
supposed
we
to
got
be
some
his
special
flu
guests.
game.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce the special guest, bro. Before we
Well,
get
first,
started.
man, let's talk about this, Jerry, because this is the second time he ain't played like a champion. This is supposed to be his
It
flu
is,
game.
G. I'm gonna have to
This is
take that
supposed to
from
be
him.
his
I'm
flu
gonna have to
game.
take the moniker from him for real, G. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
a Michael Jordan fanatic. All right. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely not playing all 82, bro.
I got some smoke for him. He
He
ain't
more
playing
like
all
Bron.
82.
He more like
Stop
Bron.
it. Don't do that. Don't do that early. Don't do that now. All right, we do have two special guests in the house. We're going to start from our boy from way out west, boots on the ground in Denver, Colorado, home of the Nuggets, Mr. Derek Kelsey. Say what's up to
And
the
I'm
people,
all,
Derek.
oh, what's up, people? I'm already mad, so I'm ready to go.
Look at him rocking his Pistons gear.
Yeah, we
How
get
you
into
a
the
Detroit
raggedy
fan
Pistons
way out
just
in
a second.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get them off. Get them off. Hey, I'm gonna be nice for the first 2 minutes, and then I'm coming.
There it is on. I feel you. I feel you. Then we have none other than Mr. Rick Washington from by way of Atlanta.
What's
From
going
right
on?
here. Well, both of them are right here from Birmingham. So, you know what I'm saying? Let us recognize them for their Birmingham nativity, them
Exactly,
being
but
out in
don't
different
get rid
areas
of
of the
that myth.
world.
Like we all don't just stay here.
Yeah.
We know how to leave. You know what I'm saying? We know how to leave. You know what I'm
Say
saying?
what's up to the people, Rick.
What's going on? Representing 35214, West Side to Best Side.
The West Side. Now, did both of y'all brothers went to Ramsey? Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, the great.
Me and Rick been battling since elementary. He went to Holy Family. I went to St. Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This go back a long way.
A long time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
We got
you already know
some
it's gonna be on and popping
well-rounded,
today.
educated brothers in here today. You know,
Absolutely.
they
All
increase our GPA by what, about 0.5?
0.25. 0.25. We up by 0.25.
Yeah. And I'm gonna increase your sports acumen by 10.5.
The shit talking begins. The
We shall
trash
see.
talking
We shall see.
begins.
But before the talking gets started, let's go ahead and say it for the people. Hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube, Trash Talking with the Old Heads. We appreciate all the support and love we've been getting so far. Definitely coming to you as well on Spotify, and eventually we'll be on Apple Podcasts as well. But hey, y'all know where we got to start. The playoffs have already begun, so we're running a little behind, but that's okay. Because we all knew how that first game was going to go anyway. But we're going to go ahead and pick these games right quick. You know what I'm saying? We're going to start with the Milwaukee, Indiana series.
Real quick. Okay, so these are series predictions.
Series predictions.
Yep.
It's not game predictions, series predictions. We just going to tell you who the winner is. We don't care how they get there. We just going to tell you who the winner is. We'll start with our guests. Rick, we'll start down there with you, bro. Indiana, Milwaukee. What's your thoughts, bro? Give us a winner.
I gotta go with Indiana in this series. Probably 5 or 6 games. I mean, as we talked about off camera, Milwaukee, not a really well-constructed team. And now they're out with Dame. Even if he comes back, he's out of shape. There's no way he could have been working out with the blood clot that he had. So, he's going to come back. It'll take some time, but they're not going to have time. They're going to run out of time before he's able.
Quickly.
You mean to tell me that Kyle Kuzma trade didn't do them any justice?
Oh, no.
Kyle Kuzma.
No, so
y'all, when that happened, that's trading just for the sake of trading.
Yeah, I think today he had 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists in like 22 minutes.
Oh,
so
boy.
he was around there just getting some good cardio in.
Right.
Trash.
Well, let's do it like this. Anybody picking Milwaukee?
Not
let's
yet.
not spend much time on that. I think because Rick, I think you pretty much summed up how we all feeling about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So if nobody's picking Milwaukee and we expect them to lose, if it goes the way that it's expected to go, based off of our analysis and our sports acumen. What do we say about Giannis and his legacy? Now I know he's still building it, and this is a microwave popcorn sports analysis world. But this would be what, the third time he's been ousted in the first round, and he's in his prime. I know
Kelsey.
we don't spend a lot of time on it, but we got to start talking about Giannis.
I'll let Kelsey go. Let the guest go. Go ahead, bro.
Well, I'll start with an affirmation. He developed a mid-range jump shot this year. Good for him. But he's the luckiest champion that we have. He boy,
Lucky
Kevin
champ.
Durant. Yeah, absolutely. Kevin Durant having a smaller shoe size, we wouldn't be dealing with any of this nonsense about Giannis being a champ. But he got him one, good for him. But that might be the only one he ever gets in his career.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I mean, he is, he's a good player. A lot of people were quick to anoint him as a top 20 all-time player after that championship run, but I can't go that far now, and a lot of the blame has to go with their front office, but, I really can't, keep him in my top 20 right now until he shows me something different, so he is he's probably going to be a one-time champion, and one of those players. He'll be, without that championship, he is a bigger version of Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, listen. I don't know if y'all
he
missed
about
this
to
like
leave.
that.
I'm gonna tell you what's about to happen. He about to do a LeBron. I'm gonna tell you what's about to happen.
What's a LeBron? What's a
it's
LeBron?
time.
What's a LeBron?
It's time to go ahead and get up out. Find you the best position. Find you another superstar to team up with. It's time to go.
He got one.
It's time.
Dame Lillard.
Man, what did I tell you? What did I tell y'all about Dame? When that trade went down, I told you it was useless. I tried to tell y'all it was useless. Y'all didn't want to listen.
Hold on.
Y'all did not want to listen to me. It was useless. Dame do not play defense. He was not going to add to that team. Drew Holiday was a better fit with Giannis than Dame is.
Right.
Let's make sure we put some context. Let's make sure we put some context around Mr. Beatty's or Dante's, Mr. Oldhead himself, around his angst about this topic, because it was one old head that got Giannis in the Mount Rushmore power forwards. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's move on to the next.
But hey, be truthful with it though. I said it was projecting where I thought he would go, because eventually I think he's leaving Milwaukee. I think he will win another title. But I think, I think he's going to go the route.
Back is he going to have to hop on? That's a big joker.
He's going to have to find
7-footer to get on somebody's back. Who's Wemby's back ain't strong enough to carry big old Giannis.
Hey man, hey, do you not see the background, bro? Don't do the Spurs. Do the Spurs stuff.
Well, that's where he's gonna have to go.
About the Spurs, bro.
That's where he's gonna have to go.
Nah. I think he's gonna have to team up with somebody at some point. I think you can see the frustration already. It's starting to build. I think they could potentially go to him this offseason and be like, well, what do you want us to do?
Here's his problem in terms of using the quote unquote LeBron. I hate that analogy because he doesn't have the acumen or the clutch network to be able to build a squad like that. So it ain't a LeBron.
I'm not saying
maybe we'll call it a KD.
I don't think he needs two other people. I think
no.
I think he needs the right other person.
We'll say let's do a KD, a facsimile of what LeBron did, a KD to the Nets or a KD to Phoenix. But here's the other problem. But no, he won't be able to get to, and that's because of the structure of the salary cap now.
Right.
That's second apron. No, he needs 5.
A better sidekick.
He might need 6. He might need 6.
Nah, come on now. Y'all disrespecting the man. Now, come on now. The man got more game than that. Come on now.
He can put up 30-10. He can put up 30-10 and 6.
Multiple MVPs. Come on, bro. Put some respect on that man.
I knew it was gonna bring some angst. Let's move on to this next series. We got bigger fish to fry.
On that man. I do think he's out. I think he is out though. I think he's gonna be out after this year. Nuggets, Clippers. Of course, that one's going on right now. I got it on the screen in front of me. 93-92 Nuggets have made a little run here and came back. Looked like the Clippers had control. Kelsey, who you got, bro?
I'm not just who I'm picking. I'm rooting for the Clippers.
Okay.
Rooting for them. Clippers in 6. Because, hey, man, these Nuggets fans around here are insufferable. Insufferable. But from a strictly basketball perspective, it looks like Zubac, he won't be able to neutralize Jokic, but I like what I've seen even in this first game in terms of how he can match his minutes a little bit. They got to get a little bit smarter doing some things, but like when they switch Christian Brown onto Zubac, he got to abuse him. Chris Dunn got to take the open three when he has it, or when he drives in there, he can't be looking to pass. But I think they'll be able to figure that out. The advantage I believe they have is their coaching staff. Lou and Jeff Van Gundy, I believe, will be able to figure it out over a long series and what to do to get them out. But it might go 7 though, because the teams are, you still got Jokic, and I respect what he has going on.
Right.
But I in the end, I think the Clippers are more of a cohesive unit. So
okay. Rick, you agree?
I hate to agree with Kelsey, but I gotta agree with him on this one. It's Jokic's good for 2 or 3 games. I'm gonna give it to him. But to be honest, I think the Clippers are a bad matchup for them. Number one, like you said, Big Zoo, he is at least somewhat of an impediment to Jokic just being able to just run free through the lane unopposed. And then Aaron Gordon can't guard everybody on the perimeter. And nobody else is really going to be able to guard, the Clippers perimeter wing player. So, I ultimately like the Clippers in 6 or 7.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think for the Clippers' sake, it needs to be 6.
Why?
Even though I think they can play them close, I think a 7. Joker. I give him that respect at home in a 7 game. I think he.
Well, wait a minute.
I think
what happened last year? What happened last year in game 7?
I get it.
But up 20.
We got the one-offs, but
up 20.
But this is James Harden and the Clippers. You giving James Harden all that credit in the game?
No. I'm giving Kawhi all of that. Kawhi. When I think of a real champion, I don't think of Giannis. I think of Kawhi.
Okay, me too.
And if you give me 7 games of healthy Kawhi.
Notice he on the wall behind me too, so you get no argument from me on that one.
Okay, so why you bring up James Harden?
But I'm saying I know I'm bringing up Joker in a game 7. I think Joker would show up and they would beat the Clippers in a game 7. I don't trust Harden. I don't trust Harden in game 7.
Where was he last year? We don't have to talk hypotheticals. Where was Jokic last year?
I get it. What was Kawhi last year? Is he going to be around for game 7?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this is the best series for the Clippers. I don't know if Kawhi will be around in June, but I think he'll be able to make it.
Will he be around in 2 weeks? The last time he played them 2 great games or whatever. Then all of a sudden, man, what happened to Kawhi?
He might not see the court on Mother's Day. So
exactly, right, man. I don't trust it. I think they need to dispose of him in 6, man.
Okay,
I got the Nuggets. I think it's an even matchup. And the tiebreaker goes to Russell Westbrook. So, I think that
what
the tiebreaker goes to Russell Westbrook.
I said it wrong for a second. I heard it, but I didn't hear it at first.
Right, because when I said it wrong. I actually meant the Clippers. I picked the Clippers.
Okay.
Because of Russell Westbrook.
I was like, are you doing a copy routine?
Yeah, because of Russell Westbrook. That's my bad. I meant to say the Clippers would win the series and Russell Westbrook would be the reason why they win, because they're evenly matched.
Okay.
And Russell Westbrook is the X factor for the Clippers.
Okay. All right.
Now, if he have a great series, it'll flip-flop. So,
okay, I can see it. Now let's get on to the Knicks and the Frosters.
I'll go last.
From Detroit. Greg,
let me say this. I don't trust the Knicks. I don't trust the Knicks, and I would pick the Pistons if I had a little bit more experience out of this group.
Right.
I think it's going to go 7.
Ooh.
And I think the Knicks will pull it out. Jalen Brunson will be that guy in game 7. The Pistons are going to give you a lot of hope, Kelsey. They're going to give you a lot of hope, but they're not going to be able to pull it out. Knicks in 7.
Rick, what you got, bro?
Yeah, I'm going with the Knicks as well. Like you said, Greg, Pistons, they play well all year, been consistent. But the NBA, more than any other sport, rewards teams sort of building step by step. So I think that New York has obviously a little bit more playoff experience. And I think it'll be a really good series, though. Not taking anything away from the Pistons, and I don't trust the Knicks long term. Don't get me wrong, but in this first round against a young team, I think they'd be able to have enough to get past the Pistons in 7 or so.
Yeah, the way I look at this one, man, like I said, I'm not gonna come in just heated and disrespect them. But if we go down player for player, and we can say, okay, the top 5 players, how many of them on the Pistons?
1.
Exactly. No way they win this series. Pistons out of there in 5 or 6 games. They may slip up on 2, but it could be a 5-gamer. With Brunson back, they're done. They're toast. They'll turn back into what they are, pumpkins. Pumpkins. They're about to turn back into pumpkins. You know what I'm saying?
Detroit Pumpkins.
Are
they the Minnesota Vikings of the NBA?
I think the word I'm looking for is summarily dispatched.
The Minnesota Vikings of the NBA.
Exactly. And they turn into the Sam Darnold of the NBA.
I am just completely amazed at this man saying, I'm not going to disrespect them. I'm not going to talk crazy after having already called us frauds, and then ends up with this screed about us being Sam Darnold and summarily dismissing 5 games.
Question though, out of the top 5 players, how many of them on the Pistons?
Oh, just 1.
So why would I pick them?
Well,
why would anybody giving serious analysis?
And now I'll take the floor. The reason why you will pick the Detroit Pistons is because the Detroit Pistons are absolutely a better team. Number 1, okay, roll your eyes. We proved it head to head with them, beating them 3-1. All right, number 2. Number 3, we have the best player in the series.
How many games better than y'all were they?
It doesn't matter. We had the best player in the series. Give me Cade.
Wait a minute, Greg. You gonna let that slide?
Cade.
Last year you told me Jalen Brunson was a superstar.
He can't be.
Man.
That's no disrespect to Jalen Brunson. That's just like me saying LeBron is better than Mike. That's no disrespect to Mike.
This year, Cade Cunningham has had a better season, but come on now.
I didn't say he had the better season. I said he's the better player.
Oh no.
The better player.
Oh no.
The better and the reason why you will see this, the reason why you will see this is we're going to pick on Jalen Brunson, which is the reason why we beat him in the Garden in January when I had great seats to see that. Okay, I'm talking about matchups. I'm talking about matchups. Jalen Brunson is not going to grow between now and in 2 weeks. He's going to be the same size. Cade is still 6'6", 6'7". So that's already a mismatch. So you got to figure out what you're going to do. There's nobody
like the Pistons with no experience like that won something. Anything.
Okay, no, I didn't say they're going to win the championship. It's the first
round. I'm saying winning around. What's the last team like that for real? With no experience the way they have pretty much no.
The Memphis Grizzlies when they beat the Spurs. Go back and listen to Tony Allen and them talk about when they knew they were going to beat the Spurs. That was then the first iteration of the grit and grind. So it's happened before. And
it has happened before, Dante.
But I'm saying, but after Cade, the Pistons have nothing, bro.
Okay, don't say nothing. See, that's
a bunch of nobody, bro. A bunch of playoff nobody.
Well, if you can't stop what we got, we don't need nothing else.
But that's what I'm telling you. The Knicks are about to show you that the
regular if I got a tool with a switch,
different. The Knicks are about to show you that the regular season and the postseason are completely different.
Beef stew ain't gonna be enough, dog.
Beef stew is plenty, and it's beef stew and Jalen Duren. Both can handle Cat, because Cat, he gonna be there whining and trying to get fouls and stuff like that. If he ain't hitting his threes, he ain't gonna get nothing at the rim.
I can't wait till they crash y'all tonight. I cannot.
Okay, good. Now, here's the thing. When you say the Pistons don't have playoff experience, that is true. But the Pistons have experience playing under pressure. It was a very negative experience. But last year, every game they went out after they lost about 15 in a row was a playoff-like game. And they got beat, and they got beat, and they got beat, and they got beat. But every other game, they showed up trying to win. So it's like they know what it's like to play under pressure.
Oh, my goodness.
And that galvanized them for this year. Okay,
Rick, I'm gonna let you get back in, bro.
Hey, I'm on wax. No, I'm on wax. Pistons in 6, and then invite me back on when they do. And all you have to say, you can use whatever language you want, whatever verbiage you want to do. All I'm going to do is translate it into DK. You were right.
Okay, don't hide though when they lose though.
Hey, listen.
Lose, do not hide.
Oh, listen.
Don't pull a Jerry Wren when Duke lost.
Right. Don't get the flu.
He's so sick. He's so sick. He in the hospital.
That boy so worried about the Lakers. That boy at the hospital.
The Dookies went out and he couldn't find him.
No, he worried about Braun getting the title.
Yeah, and Kelsey, come on now. You know,
Okay.
how much pressure could they really have been under last year?
Listen, losing 28 games in a row.
That's
Dog,
the
you're breaking the
farthest reach
record.
I've heard in a very
You're breaking the
long
record.
time.
Okay, you're breaking the record, and you know every time you go out, you're gonna be the laughing stock. That's pressure.
Dudes don't care anything about that, man.
They don't care. The Pistons, man, they was in there hurt. It was a very, very rough thing, but it's the reason why we were able to bounce back, which shows you our intestinal fortitude. And we're gonna walk into the Garden, win game 1, and then we're gonna be off to the races.
No, the reason they were able to bounce back because Cade Cunningham took another step forward, and he was able to drag that bunch of leads on with him.
No, we got some shooting. No, we got a better roster. It was better roster construction. We got shooting around us. We got Asar back from the health complications, so we good. We good. Ain't nobody in the Knicks can stop Cade. Cade is gonna average 35 this series. He gonna eat.
But they
still gonna eat.
Still gonna lose.
Malik Beasley gonna average 20.
And now, when you say Malik Beasley, who I have heard some pundits say is their second best player, if that's your second best player,
no, he fits what we need to do. We just need him to shoot.
He's the second most important player.
You just better hope he don't revert back to his Laker days.
No. Listen, I'm telling you, I was the most skeptical when he was on the squad. I was like, no, man, that dude. I saw him go to the Lakers and forget how to shoot. But this year he led the league. He was second to Ant in the most threes made, and so like he's made a believer out of me. He did it for 82, so I believe in him.
He has been wet though. He has been wet.
Yeah. I believe in him. He's proven it to me. I believe in him.
Cavaliers Heat. Greg.
Oh, that's a man.
You got.
Yeah, that's the alley-oop, man. Let's go, Cavs. I don't believe. Hey, listen, I like Bam, but if he's your best player and he doesn't take best player shots, you ain't going too far with your organization. Cavs have had a miraculous turnaround as far as the amount of games they've won, how effective they've been in their offensive possessions this season. If they played anyone else with some, the Cavs, they scare me because Donovan Mitchell turns into who does he
Giannis
turn into in the playoffs?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Not Giannis now. Come on, you giving Giannis some you killing Giannis over here, man. You're killing Giannis. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell, man. I got to see it out of him the entire postseason for me to get the stench off his previous playoff postseason history. Like, what does he do when the lights get bright? And he hasn't shown that he can do it. But I'm gonna pick him to win against the Heat. It's this next round that I'm concerned about.
Yeah, so we can run through anybody taking the Heat. Then we'll get the floor. Okay,
not enough score.
Okay, we can move on to the next one then. All right. Thunder Grizzlies.
No. Cakewalk.
Anybody taking the Grizz?
No. Cakewalk.
Nobody's taking Ja Morant and his pistol grenade launching.
Listen, he needs
Call of Duty and celebrations.
No, they'll be lucky to get one.
Yeah,
right.
That's cakewalk.
Rockets, Warriors.
This one's gonna be a good series.
Indeed.
I mean, I'm rolling with the Warriors from experience. To me, the Rockets are the Pistons of the West.
But better.
So they're a good team, they're a solid team. They are, as Draymond would say, a 82 game team as a 16 game team. They once again have a bunch of low spades, a bunch of guys.
He said low spades.
But ultimately, Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, too much for the young Rockets. I got Warriors in 6.
Anybody with an opposing view?
Nah, man. Warriors, the Rockets don't shoot enough. They don't hit enough threes. and the Warriors will get hot. This will be a 6 to 7 game series though, because the Rockets can lock up,
I don't
and the
trust Jalen
Warriors.
Green. That's my problem with the Rockets. I don't
Yeah, that
trust
too.
him.
That part.
Still
That
too
part.
inefficient for me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't trust him yet. I
Yeah.
don't trust him yet. I
And then they
try to.
got hothead
I
Dylan
try to
Brooks out
like
there.
him, but I have a hard time liking him. You know what I'm saying? Just his whole all around game. I have a hard time liking it. Come
Dylan
playoff
Brooks is
time.
going to get antagonized into some BS. Draymond Green too, but Draymond knows how to turn that negative into a positive most times.
I about to
Except
say,
for
I
when they
hope he
lost to the
does.
Cat, except for when they lost to LeBron. But usually he's able to turn that technical foul or that flagrant foul into a positive for the Warriors in most instances.
What? No, he did it against LeBron. He had like 6 threes in that game 7.
He did. He did.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Celtics Magic.
Cakewalk.
Yeah, anybody got the Magic?
Mm-mm.
I'm going with the Magic, baby, for the upset.
That could.
And
my
I'm
God.
I'm
Nah,
bullshitting,
that
but
could. That
Yeah,
could.
yeah,
guess
yeah,
who
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
who I'm
yeah.
pulling for.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
could
That's
be a
who I'm
sweep.
pulling for. Let's go.
I-
Let's
I-
go pay
I-
Oh,
buy
I'm
out.
definitely
Whatever your name
pulling
is.
for the Magic, but
Yeah.
I
We
can't
need
see it
Greg Anthony's boy to show up and turn out. You know what I'm saying? We need
every
him to
game.
turn up
And
like he
Van
did
Carroll
against the
got the average. Van Carroll got the average about 40.
Listen, when you said that, I had to check the calendar on my computer. I said, "Is it 420?" No, it's 419. Okay.
All right,
No,
and then the last
you
one,
guessed. You
Hey,
talking about they
listen.
gonna beat this?
Lakers
Anybody against the
Timberwolves.
Celtics, I'm picking.
Okay.
Okay. And y'all know why. It's the hatred going on.
Yep.
Hey, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't bet on this game. Of course, we know the Celtics gonna whip their ass, but
Oh
let's go,
boy,
Magic.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lakers Wolves. Who you got? Anybody can start. Anybody want to start?
Rudy
Lakers in 6.
Gobert, Rudy Ray Moore, Rudy Poop. Lakers in 5.
I got Lakers in 6.
Oh man, I'm a huge Ant-Man fan, but yeah, I don't think they had enough. Like when we were talking about Milwaukee, in the trade, off-season trades. I think that trade hurt that team.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you, thank you. That's what I said.
I've never been a big Julius Randle fan.
Me.
So, as much as I hate to say it, I'm gonna have to roll with the Lakers and 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julius Randle,
Lakers in
Julius
6.
Irvin, Julius Caesar. Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 6, man. I don't trust Julius Randle in the playoffs either, man. You can miss me with him. Yeah. Lakers definitely win that series, man. So there you have it on the NBA playoff, our predictions. But y'all know what this episode is all about. It's mock draft season. The NFL draft starts on Thursday. I'm looking forward to the 49er window being opened again on next Thursday. That's what's about to happen. So we're going to do a mock draft for you where we each take 8 of the teams and make the picks for them. Everybody going to have 3 minutes on the clock to make your pick. Hold on. Let me share the screen for y'all one more time here so we can get started. Now, when the Niners on the clock, we may get 5 minutes. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? Get 5 minutes. The Niners on the
Damn
clock.
them Niners. And all they fans.
Hey, bro, why so hostile, bro?
Exactly.
Hey man.
So
Y'all
hostile.
know why I'm so hostile.
Come
Y'all
on,
haven't
man.
been in the same text chains and the same
Lead that
Facebook social media group that I'm in.
lead that narcotic alone, man.
Listen, don't start the Reverend with this shit, man. Okay, about them Cowboys. He been on my ass, man, for about a good
That's
5-6 months now.
That's called love. Trying to get you out of strongholds.
Everybody see the timer? Everybody good with the timer?
I can't
Yep.
see the timer.
Yeah, I can see it.
Probably got to accept it there, G.
Hold
See,
on,
that's a Cowboy fan for you. Don't know how to do nothing right. Just like his.
share it with me again.
Just
Share
like
it
his
with me
team.
again.
All right, let's see. Share.
Share with me too.
Okay, all participants. All right.
I
There
maybe
we go.
was not okay. There we go.
There we
Open.
go.
I see the timer, but I don't see it set. You hadn't set it yet.
It's set on 3 minutes. I hadn't
All right.
you won't see it till it starts.
Okay.
Everybody, like I said, we all got 8 teams. Tennessee Titans, you are on the clock.
Yeah, I'm not gonna waste any time here. I think we all know where they're going and where I would go if I was picking as the GM of Tennessee. I'm going with Cam Ward. Uh, is he, in the mold of, the Peyton Mannings and, other franchise changing quarterbacks at number one? Probably not. But I think he has very high upside. He showed me a lot in the past year with, sort of average, above average talent in Miami. And the thing is, if you don't have a quarterback, you're going to spend all your time thinking about a quarterback. You're going to waste a lot of resources. You're going to, have a lot of bad, free agent picks, the Will Levises and the other, average quarterbacks you picking up, Russell Wilsons and whatnot. So I think you have to try to solidify that position for your football team if you have that opportunity. So I'm not going to waste any time going with Cam Ward, Miami Hurricanes.
I can see that because definitely one thing you had to give Ward though, he's performed at 3 different stops when it comes to college. You know what I'm saying? So I give him credit for that. And he's performed well at each one. So I give him credit for that. But I'll let y'all go since only a minute and a half left. Derek, got anything on Cam Ward? What's your thoughts on? Is he a franchise changer? I guess that's the question.
See that. So for me, it's hard to try to, to burn your hand on that stove so many times. You said it best, Rick. Is he a franchise changer? So you're just getting the quarterback of the day, kind of like the soup of the day. Even though you don't like tomato soup, because it's a soup of the day, you're gonna get it. And I'm just hesitant about. I'm not saying what you're picking is wrong, but how far
above Will Levis?
Who did they pick a couple years ago? They did Will Levis and
they have Malik Willis, Malik Willis from Liberty.
Right.
So you taking flyers at quarterback, and I don't think you should spend your first round pick doing that. But
here's what you're doing, Greg, is you're taking the armchair GM spot and not actually being on the team. It's like, if you need a quarterback, you don't have the luxury of, we'll maybe wait for a couple years to find one. Right. You got to find one. And so if this is what's out there, you can't shop. And you at Piggly Wiggly, whatever they got in the groceries, whatever they got in the fruit and vegetable aisle, you got to take. It ain't Whole Foods where you can just meander around and kind of sample some stuff. You got to pick what's there. And he's what's there. He's the best of what's there. You go and get him. If he's the guy, cool. If not, move on from him. Get somebody else.
That's their time. That's
the Oscar music
on the clock.
Oh no, this real quick. Let me get Travis Hunter, cornerback and wide receiver, Colorado.
That's what I was gonna say. We was going with. We can keep it moving if we want to keep. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, we can definitely stop it. We can pause at any point. Yeah. This is our draft. We can do whatever we need to do.
If you feel like Travis Hunter is the best player in the draft, and you don't have that guy at quarterback, I would at number one. I probably would have went.
Well, I'll give you my rationale, because you stole the ball from me while I was trying to shoot, so I'll steal the ball back from you and give you my rationale. So Cleveland needs help all over the roster, offense and defense. With Trav, I think if you draft him this early, you got to play him both ways to make him valuable for the pick. I believe that he can. He did it. Played 120 some snaps a game.
Both sides.
Yes. So there's not 120 snaps to play in the NFL game, number one. Number two, he doesn't have to play every single offensive snap, every single defensive snap. But I believe if you have a guy who can do that, who's been trained to do that, and who is as talented as he is, don't take him this high unless you're going to let him do that.
Which one should be his main position?
Huh?
Which one should be his main position?
Well, it might be a situation 4 or 5 years in, you figure out, all right, let's put him one way or another. But he got young legs.
So you're saying 50-50 up front, like?
Well, let's see. It might be Joe Flacco needs somebody else over there with Jerry Jeudy, so you might have to play him more at wide receiver. It might be, hey, we're going to be a defensive-led team, and we're just going to run the ball and do some ball control. Well, I'm not going to have him out there just running go routes, just getting him tired. Then I'm going to save him and let him play more defense. but you got to use him. I believe if you take him this high, you need to use him both ways because he's that type of talent and he can have that kind of impact.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know if he can ball at that level on both sides of the ball. Because if you have him at wide receiver and at cornerback, is he the best wide receiver? You
In this
know,
draft,
one through
and is he the
three.
best wide receiver in this
No,
draft?
no, I'm talking about when you get him on the team. Yeah,
Okay.
of
Well, he
course.
don't have to be the best
I
wide
agree where you
receiver on
picked
the
him at.
team.
Is he the
Is
best
he
wide
is he better
receiver?
than the third wide receiver?
Right, that's what I'm going. Is he the best top? Is he the best 3 wide receivers on your squad?
Yes.
Is he the
Yes, he will
best
be.
2 cornerbacks on your squad?
Yes, he will
And
be.
if he's not, I'm saying, if he's not, then why would you waste or
Why are we dealing with
spot?
hypotheticals?
Why
We're
would
talking
you
about the
waste a
Cleveland Browns.
roster spot? I'm talking
We,
about the Cleveland Browns. We talking about
okay,
the
so
Cleveland
who's
Browns.
better? Who's the better cornerback that the Cleveland Browns have?
I can't tell you
Exactly.
that right off, but
Denzel
There,
Ward.
there
I
you go.
can. Denzel
Denzel
Ward.
Ward. Okay. Well, okay. Name 2 more that's better than him.
Newsom. I'll keep going. Those
No,
2 are better than Travis
no.
Hunter. Right now,
Travis better
crazy.
than Travis better than
Talk,
Newsom.
you giving this man credit for something he has not done yet in the pros. I can't
The,
give you that
the,
credit
the,
till I see you on
listen,
the NFL field.
he's the
so
next level
he
talent.
got to be
He's the
in
next
wide
level talent. I
receiver
don't need to see
rooms.
it.
He got to be in cornerback rooms. How you gonna do all
And
that at one?
okay,
He gonna be on both wide
listen.
receiver and cornerback rooms.
You know what he does? You know what
in
he does in his
offensive
free
meetings
time?
and defensive meetings.
You know what he does in his free time? He fishes and he
Placate
plays video
to
games.
that broad. Placate to
Here
that
we go. Here
broad.
we go. Here we
Drive
go.
her to
Here we go. Here we go.
Right.
Here
drive
we
her to
go.
parties and let her
Here
get
we go. Here
smashed
we
out
go.
by,
Simp
Here we go.
around.
This is see.
by the
See.
homies.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. But anyway,
Let's
the
start
boy
the
don't do
time on
nothing
that.
but football. So he has the capacity. That's all that he does. As a talent, he's more talented than
We
he's
can
more
keep talking
talented at
about them, but
DB.
the Giants, you're on the clock. That's me. But go ahead. We can keep talking about Travis.
No, I'm just saying he's more talented.
Yeah,
And if you draft him there,
let's
let
keep
him
the
play.
conversation going about Travis. Listen, he's talented. I'm just saying that. Would you? I mean, of course, you draft him where you drafted him, but do you allow him to take up roster spots in players that could be better at him in a particular position?
He's only taking up one roster spot. You can get you another corner and a DB and figure out when you want to play them. He's one person who can play both ways.
That's actually an advantage because
That's an advantage, exactly. Yeah, you get it's a market inefficiency.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Kelsey. He's in my opinion, he's a top 3 talent in the draft, and so the Cleveland Browns bereft of talent, as we all know. We need
Good word.
talent on both sides of the ball. He's probably going to come in, to be honest, and be their first or second best receiver, and definitely their first or second best cornerback. Now, my only concern is not so much the physical aspect. It's the going from a college playbook to an NFL playbook and trying to learn both sides of the ball.
That's what I meant to bring. That's what I meant to highlight.
That's a big part of it, though.
That's
right.
a big part of it.
And
being able to split time at both. Now, I think he should play both sides of the ball, but not every play at quarterback, at cornerback, every play.
No,
I
didn't say every play. He don't need to do every play.
Okay. That's all I'm saying.
But to me, to get the best use out of him, he's gonna have to play every snap at one of them. One of them, he's gonna have to play every. I think it should be DB. I think you should play.
I do too. I think it should be DB and be a situational wide receiver.
Find a situational use for him on offense. Is what. That's the way I would go. But the Giants are on the clock. I vacillated between a couple here. I want to do it.
Using big words today. Vacillate.
I want to do it, but I'm not gonna be able to do it, bro. I want to do it, but I'm gonna have to go with Abdul Carter. You know what I'm saying? I got to go with Abdul Carter.
Who did you vacillate with?
Him and Shedeur. I thought about Shedeur. I'm kind of with y'all. If you need a quarterback, you need a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And they need a quarterback, but they did go get a good bridge guy for me to wait it out. You know what I'm saying? To try to wait it out. And that's why I went with Abdul Carter, because to me, if you can get serviceable play out of Russ right for this year, and then get hopefully what you think, well, what many people think is maybe a generational pass rusher, and then go back in for your quarterback next year, I think that's a solid plan, because I think Russ can still play and help them get, will they make the playoffs? I don't know, but I think he can help them get 9 wins. You know what I'm saying? Will that be 8 or 9 wins? Because people sleep on that defense. They added Holland in the secondary and somebody else in the secondary. They got a nice front as well. and you add Abdul Carter, they should be able to get after the quarterback. I think that can lead to 8 or 9 wins.
Do you keep saying
Start
Russ
that
like
timer,
Jameis
sir.
is not there?
Gotcha.
You keep saying Russ like Jameis is not there as well. You think Russ will hold down the starting position?
Ooh. Well, Mr. FSU crab leg
Jay
himself,
Boo.
I wish Jameis the best. I want Jameis to get another shot, but every time he does, the interception bug always pops up. He
Okay.
hasn't corrected that yet. And I'm a Jameis fan. Being an
it ain't
FSU
gonna get
fan, I'm a
corrected.
big Jameis fan, but the interception problem just hasn't gone away. You know what I'm saying? So do I want to see him get another opportunity to be a starter? Absolutely. I think he's talented enough to do it. But at some point, you've got to get past that interception problem, or else you're just a backup. I mean, you can't turn the ball over like that.
Let me ask you real quick. So do you think the Giants should go back later in the draft and try to get a quarterback?
If I would try to come back and get Shedeur.
like a Will Howard. No,
I would try to come back and get him. I really would.
If you're the Giants.
If I'm the Giants and I got that second pick in the second round, I would try to package it maybe with a 4 or 3, whatever you got to do, something next year, whatever you need to do, and try to get back above Pittsburgh, because I think Pittsburgh going to have to take a quarterback, and it could very easily be Shedeur. So I would try to package that to get back up and get Shedeur. I think Shedeur is going to be a good pro. I just wouldn't take him
Robert Kraft's pick is in.
Yeah. I just wouldn't take him at 3. Like I said, I think Shedeur is really good, but good enough to be at 3, I don't think so.
Okay.
And
the Kraft family,
the
Kraft family, with the 4th pick in the draft, have selected Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU. I went with Will over Amon Membu. Due to Membu is more of a project at that tackle. I mean, he has great upside. All the draft boards say so. But Will Campbell is a seasoned vet against NFL talent already.
Yeah, he is.
Membu too. He played it in the SEC, but he was more of a solid, you know what you're gonna get type player. And they with having Drake May at quarterback, you know, they don't have room to play around. So Will Campbell would be my selection.
I can see that. You know, I probably would have gone. I think Membu is the perennial all-pro kind of player, but it's kind of like what you're saying. I think you know what you're gonna get from Campbell. He'll be rock solid from the start. You know what I'm saying? Membu, I think, could be an all-pro though, like consistently, if he gets to that point. But I see why you picked it though. With Drake May, like you said, with Drake May coming into his second year, I can see it. You know what I'm saying? A plug-and-play guy like Campbell, I can see it.
Yeah, they've got to get some protection for him. I mean, there's they feel like he's the future. You got to get some protection for him and try to piece together some weapons, a broke down step up. Yeah, I think that's
block. But yeah, I agree. All
right. Jacksonville Jaguars. Boy, they need a lot of help.
Man, what you say?
So, Jacksonville Jaguars, though, we're going to select Mason Graham out of Michigan. The Jaguars were a sieve on defense last year, they and knowing, how their GM, who, came from the Rams, going back to the Aaron Donald days, and now with the guys he drafted last year, the guys from Florida State or what have you, for the Rams, I feel like he wants to build a defensive line. They already have 2 good edge rushers in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Save their life. So with that said, Mason Graham from Michigan.
I can see a question about the Jags though. Are any of us sold on the QB?
No.
At this point, you can't be. You can't be. No. Whatever you thought of him you have to think less of him now than you did 2 years ago.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't see it at this point. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it.
There's some issues with organizational stability that doesn't help him. But there's a sense of either he has not reached his potential or he's regressed from the best we've seen of him play. I think that's true.
Right.
But you got so many other variables turning over. It's kind of hard to get a great read on, okay, is he on a decline? Or if he could get some stability around him, he can right the ship and then be more of what we thought. But this deep into his career, at a certain point, it's like, well, you kind of are who you are.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. They invested in him now though, so
Right. Right.
anywhere at least
$5 million a year or so, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, he'll be there at least for a couple more years. It's too expensive to cut him. So
Yep.
so yeah, you might as well just roll with him and Brian Thomas. They, got a couple of decent backs. So, they might be able to turn it around if they, can keep
Yeah, I mean, the division is definitely not like some
Yeah, it's
juggernaut.
like,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you got Colts and so Titans. Yeah, only real team you have to deal with is the Texans. But so they got a chance to turn it around quickly if they have a good offseason. But I just don't see it with that team. I think eventually they'll figure out that he's not the answer. I just don't think he's the answer.
it'll be 3 years from now, but
Yeah. Oh, right. Exactly. Exactly. At this point, they have to see it through. At this point, so. Coming up, the Raiders.
yeah. With the 6th pick of the draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Jeanty, Boise State.
Please explain this pick.
No brainer.
Well, very. Listen,
brainer.
it's again, it's not. I'm here to increase your acumen, so
Overrated.
lean in. So lean in. Number one, Pete Carroll got his QB in Geno Smith, and now he needs his Marshawn Lynch.
Ooh.
And so this is going to be a guy that's going to help them control the ball and run the Pete Carroll offense.
I get it.
The alternatives are they also need help at receiver, help at cornerback. Outside of Will Johnson, I don't know if there's if Trav was still available, that's the type of pick that I would go if I had that kind of cornerback available. But I don't see a receiver that excites me or a cornerback that excites me in the same level in terms of the impact that Jeanty can have.
Who is his comp for you? Who do you compare him to? What do you see when you look at him?
Emmitt Smith, baby.
I see a guy who can be like Emmitt Smith. I don't know if I'm going to put it when I say but Emmitt Smith, I believe that he has the physical frame where he'll give you 1,200 yards consistently in a season. He's a bell cow where you can just keep turning around, giving it to him. Yeah, he's young. I think the timeline that they're on, I like him as a pick. And in general, I am lower on running backs because you can get running backs pretty much anywhere throughout the draft. But I think he's one of those special guys, and so I would pull the trigger here for them.
Okay, all right.
But you got protecting Geno Smith has been a very solid quarterback in Seattle. But if you get him a running game where he doesn't have to throw the ball
right.
50 times a game. Yes, when you get to play extra pass, he's very accurate. Understands the system that he's trying to run. So give him a running back, and you got big old lughead from Georgia at tight end, and now we can mash people. Yeah, now we can mash people out, and I like the offensive setup that they can run. And again, it's kind of Pete Carroll. Let's play defense. Let's control the ball, and you can kind of get a Seattle 2.0.
Big sound like you had something to say on that one.
Yeah, I'm not that sold on Ashton Jeanty. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Me either.
I feel like if you drafting a running back this high, he needs to be
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson. I can even make the argument with Bijan Robinson. I mean, I can look on tape. To me, forget the production.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this guy.
Stay on Jeanty. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Who up next though?
I'm not high on drafting run like you said, Kelsey, drafting running backs, and I don't think he is the generational running back talent that I've only seen him really play against two high-level defenses, and one of them he was pretty much shut down.
Right.
Who was that? Who shut him down? Not Oregon.
Who did they play in the playoff?
Oh, the playoff?
Penn State.
Yeah, so they
I mean, but you talk about a difference in offensive line
Yeah,
talent
yeah.
and defensive line talent too.
you talking
I
about
just think that if y'all saw it, if we saw this guy play at a SEC school or a traditional power conference, I believe I think there would be more buy-in. I think he would be a more highly rated.
That blue screen was on my television 4 or 5 times late at night.
Come on,
He
man.
saw him. That
Yeah,
blue screen was on the
yeah,
TV.
and he was running all over that blue screen.
Right, he
Exactly.
was.
Up and
He
down the
was.
field.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, they probably had the teams they were playing, they had better talent than those teams
Right.
playing. And the thing is, it's not like the Raiders got like a mashing offensive line.
They're solid though. They're
They're
solid.
solid. They're solid.
yeah, but your comparison to Emmett Smith is, I mean, Emmett
No, no,
Well,
no.
my
That's Greg. That's Greg. Let's be careful. That's Greg. I said that like consistent production. That's my comparison. I ain't say nothing about Greg got no cowboy doggers on.
Here's what I see. One of the things that a lot of people discredit Emmett on, and I'm glad we having this conversation because we probably need to have this conversation whole because I'm still pissed at Dante and Jerry for disrespecting Emmett like they did on that phone call, that infamous phone call one night. But Emmett's greatest, his strength, his superpower was his vision, and people
Yep.
discredit that because they like the flashiness of a
Bear
LaDainian
Sanders.
Tomlinson or Bear Sanders, and no doubt I got Bear Sanders as my all-time greatest running back. But when you have that type of vision, and that's what Genty has, he's able to see holes that other running backs, they try to press the hole that they're given without seeing the actual field. And that was one of the things I read up on Genty is that he, what I'm saying, that his vision is great. So that's why I said Emmitt Smith. Before we let the Jets time run out.
Raiders have a lot more holes to fill than running back. As someone said earlier, you can think it was Kelsey. You can find serviceable running backs.
What?
Yeah.
Well, the Raiders have like 9 picks though, don't they? Don't they have like 9 or 10 picks? So I think they're good.
Around they don't.
Well, this draft kind of weak anyway, so you'll find what you need in the second round, first round,
It's
second round.
definitely a weak draft. And matter of fact, like I said, with the Jets pick, I'm taking Armand Membu. It's pretty safe. We don't even have to spend a lot of time on the Jets for real. They need offensive line. We saw it last year with Aaron Rodgers. They need line help all over the place. They tried to patch it up with some older guys last year. It didn't work. It's time to really for them to get younger on the O-line. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, we're bringing over Justin Fields. He's going to need time. We all know he don't process at the highest level all the time, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to processing, reading the defense. So I think Membo is a good pick for them. Start him out at right tackle. Hopefully, maybe he can transition to the left, but if not, I think he can be a really, really, like I said, a Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber right tackle if they hit on him. So I would definitely take Membo here. The Panthers are on the clock, though.
I got my pick. It's ready to roll.
Let's get it, dude.
Unless we had, more conversation around Membu.
Nah.
All right. So with the 8th pick, the Carolina Panthers are selecting Ted McMillan out of the University of Arizona State.
6'4", they have 6'4".
No. University of Arizona.
Oh, he was at Arizona? Dang,
yeah.
I'm thinking
it's on your
boy
screen.
from Arizona State.
It's on. I got all the info on your screen there.
Okay. Yeah, I said the wrong university. That's my bad. Ted McMillan. The Panthers need help. They need to give Bryce Young some playmakers. They also have needs on the defensive side of the ball as well. They got edge rusher issues, O-line issues. I think I saw a lot better improvement with the offensive line at the when Bryce came back. Even when they substituted Bryce, you started to see the offensive line pick up. And I don't know if that was more of Bryce's fault holding onto the ball, not really reading the coverages as well, but he was able to improve that aspect of his game. He wasn't on his backside a lot, but they still could use more because they're going to have offensive line to protect them. But they also need to give him some people that can get open.
I agree.
In 2 and 3 seconds. So
Cat separates really well too. He really does.
Yes, he does.
I agree.
Is Bryce the answer at QB for the Panthers?
Yes.
Right now.
Absolutely.
No doubt. No doubt in my mind. Yes.
Tell me something.
No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. No doubt. I don't waver. I don't waver.
People out here listening, if y'all don't know, a lot of these are Bama fans.
These are sports.
The one up in that corner with the mic in front of his face. He's the biggest Bama fan on the planet. So take
I
that what
don't give
you
a
just
piss
said with a
about
grain of salt.
nothing but the Tide,
No,
baby.
no. The
We
reason why I
all
say
three went to Bama.
Bryce,
Let's just go
Bryce
ahead
balled.
and pull
He
the sheet off.
balled
All three of us
out
went to
there
Bama.
in the top level of high school ball in California. He came to the SEC and he balled there. Why can't he then not ball at the top level football? He's always played at the top level and has always been exceptional.
So
Yes, he's been small.
what does he have potential wise? Top 15, top 10? What can he be?
15 of what? At the
At
He's in the
a top
NFL.
10 quarterback. Absolutely. Top 10 quarterback. Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
oh,
Absolutely.
I ain't
10
gonna
is a
go
lot.
that far.
10 is a lot.
I gotta see
Hold on,
more.
wait. Come
I
on.
gotta see
10,
more,
10
but he
is
can
a, 10
definitely
is
get
a
to the
lot of
top
quarterback.
half.
Listen, 10 is a lot.
I mean,
Okay, yeah,
if
I
he
get
got to
Mahomes
10,
and all of them.
Saints
But
on
by
the
the time you get to about 7, 8, we ain't talking about people I'm just shaking in my boots like, oh no, Listen, it ain't about 5 elite quarterbacks. It's a whole lot in that middle section. Not that he can
and
be
Brock
there.
Purdy ain't one of them. Brock Purdy is not one of them. Can we get
Yeah, man, you
another
don't sit down. You don't
49er
sit
fan?
down on that comfortable couch acting like top 10 is something great, and we can legitimately say Brock Purdy might be considered that.
No, but what I'm
Yeah,
saying
he got
is
he
that's
has
why
Brock
that's
Purdy
why I
as a
know
top
Brock is
5
not that
quarterback.
and won't be
Okay.
that. I've seen enough to know he will not be that.
Well, who's better?
You
I mean,
wasn't saying that last year, sir. You were definitely not saying that last year. You and Jerry
About
I'm
who?
gonna make a note.
had the gall to say
No,
Brock Purdy
I'm talking about
was a
your
top
boy in
5
Carolina.
quarterback.
I'm
Y'all
talking about
said
your
that.
boy in Carolina right now. See, we talking two different things. I'm talking about your boy in Carolina. Brock is already in there.
Well,
So
he
I'm
didn't
talking about
say
your boy
top
in
5. He
Carolina.
said top 10. He said
Yeah,
top
top
10.
10. Yeah,
He said top 10.
he can be as good as Brock. He can be as
Bryce
good
would
as
not
Brock.
be a top 10 quarterback ever.
If Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback, then it is definitely within reach for Bryce Young to be one.
Absolutely.
So it is Brock is definitely top 10. I give Bryce Young top 10. It ain't too many people. If you want to look at receipts and winning and everything, you ain't too many people in the league. You gonna put Brock Purdy.
System.
And that's the crazy part about it. Winning matters for quarterbacks, everybody except Brock Purdy.
Exactly.
No.
It matters the most about quarterback, except
what we say about Brock Purdy, or at least what I say about Brock Purdy. He is a part of the system. He isn't the system.
Oh, what?
If you're not that guy,
are part of systems. Who cares?
No.
Who cares?
There are systems
Troy
that are
Aikman
created for the quarterback. There are
Troy
systems that
should
are
not
created.
be in the Hall of Fame, but he got there.
Troy Aikman got three fucking Super Bowls, man. What
but
are we
know
doing?
He's not a Hall of Fame quarterback, though. We all know that.
What?
No, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Eli
Manning should be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
And if Eli shouldn't be, neither should Troy Aikman.
No. Troy actually, like you talking about winning. Troy actually won games. Eli lost half the games he played. So we're talking about two different caliber of quarterbacks.
Do you want to pull up Troy Aikman's stats?
No, his stats are not going to be as good because they ain't even throw because they had the greatest running back. Arguably the greatest running back of all time. He can turn around and give it to you.
Thank you. What's your pick?
Thank you.
What's your pick, Saints?
All right.
We'll get back to this conversation. What's that Saints pick?
Another Troy Aikman, he's basically Terry Bradshaw, but
thank you.
So the
Terry
Saints,
Bradshaw got 4 Super Bowls.
Well, that's enough.
Hall of Fame
he played in an era where they weren't throwing the ball 50,
not Hall of Fame
times a game. Come on, man.
Hall of Fame teams, not Hall of Fame players.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, hold on. Go ahead and make your pick, but we coming back to this. This is some. we coming back.
So this is when it gets interesting in the draft. So the Saints, another team that has the Saints probably in the worst salary cap position of any team in the history of the NFL.
Mysterious Derek Carr injury.
Mysterious Derek Carr injury.
I can't find no real information about how timetable, how long he's out, nothing.
Well, I'm the GM, and since Derek Carr is injured, I think this is where Shedeur comes off the board, and then miraculously Derek Carr will be healthy enough to trade. And so, and once again, just like I said about Tennessee, you don't have a quarterback. We all know Derek Carr is not the answer. He is literally the embodiment of average. You know, he's super average. You're not going to win the Super Bowl with Derek Carr, no matter how much you put around him. So you gotta at some point take a swing and try to get a quarterback that, you know, many feel can be, you know, ultimately a high level quarterback. So and you know, Derek Carr's contract is not so prohibitive that he wouldn't be untradeable. So I'm gonna go with Shedeur Sanders right here, and I know this is gonna open up a lot of discussion. So here we go. Go ahead, guys.
I wouldn't kill the pick. Like I said, I wouldn't take him at 3. I'm not sure I would take him at 9 either. But he does have what's interesting about him to me and the conversation around him. The things that all the experts say make a good quarterback: processing information, accuracy. He has in spades, but for him, that doesn't seem to mean anything when they talk about him. That kind of bothers me a little bit because I think he can be an accurate thrower of the ball. I think he's gonna need a good offensive line in the pros, but I think he's got pocket awareness. He can read defenses. They knock him for the offense they ran with all the bubble screens or whatever. But look at that offensive line. I mean, come on, man. We all saw Colorado play 8, 9, 10 times. That offensive line was a sieve. I mean, come on, man. That man was running for his life, getting killed. Now, can he throw the ball away sometime? Does he try to play a little hero ball? But I think he had to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at the pick, especially for the Saints. I've never been a Derek Carr fan either. Definitely overrated to me. I wouldn't be mad at this pick if I'm a Saints fan. I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, you got to somewhere, and you know, nothing better to get you out of salary cap hell than a quarterback on a rookie deal.
Rookie deal. Yep. Dante, you said he can be accurate. Why you say can be versus he is accurate?
Just misspoke. He is accurate.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say.
To me, that's
one of his best.
To me, that's his superpower. You know
yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hey,
most definitely.
Comparison. Maybe I'm doing too much, but I got to compare.
If you feel yourself about to do it, then you probably are.
I'm about to do it. I'm about to do it.
I'm glad you're self-aware.
Jameis Winston.
Man, stop.
No, subtle difference. I see what the comparison is.
Hold on.
I see where the comparison comes in.
Right.
I see what you're trying to do.
Let's not look at Jameis in the pros. Let's look at Jameis as a Florida State quarterback coming out of the draft.
What you're doing.
Jameis highly accurate. Slow of foot. I mean, he wasn't a brick. He wasn't Byron Leftwich.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely far from Michael Vick as a black quarterback. You know, that's something that black quarterbacks are expected to be able to run with conviction and some level of competence and speed and elusiveness. Oh, we got somebody else on the clock, the Bears. Okay, but
let me respond to that though. See, people this is kind of where the revisionism comes in. Sometimes people forget.
Okay.
Jameis' first year, he threw 18 picks at FSU. You see what I'm saying?
His first year,
18 picks.
He threw 18 picks, 25 and 18. So, no, I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't. And the pocket awareness for me is completely different. Jameis at FSU was talent. The boy was just talented and had a lot of talent around him. That to me is a big difference for me.
Well, I think the two places where there's overlap is they're not the most physically gifted in terms of just raw speed and athleticism. And I think they both are very cerebral in terms of understanding defense and stuff like that. Like Jameis had that at FSU, and Shedeur understands defensive coverage and whatnot. Now, decision making, I think there's a little bit of a difference there because Jameis he would try to just throw it up in there. And I think pocket awareness, I believe that Shedeur has a little bit more kind of feel for what's going on around there.
Well, I've been hearing that I agree more with is more of a Kirk Cousins mold. I see more of that kind of player in Shedeur. I think that's what his ceiling, I don't know. No, I'm saying I don't know that's
which could be.
Yeah, I'm saying he plays the game, I see more of that.
The one
would have to play with as much anticipation that Cousins has to play with.
Right.
One thing I like about Shedeur that I'm sure a lot of people in the media with their coded messages are knocking him for is that he is Deion's son.
Right.
One,
Arrogance.
he's dealt,
Confidence.
he's dealt with being a star, for the last 2 years at least. He, like you said, he definitely is confident. That's for sure.
Right.
And then, but the most important thing is Deion. Despite his flash, Deion was known for his preparation and his technical
Right.
ability.
That's what
So
I'm
I
glad you
feel
said that, Rick.
he will help teach Shedeur and has already taught him how to prepare, how to be a good pro, how to take care of your body, how to eat.
That's good.
All things you need to do to
Right.
be. And I think that, going back to the Jameis comparison, that's something that he didn't necessarily
have. Coming
Great
in. Yeah.
point.
Well,
Great point.
I'm talking about physical attributes, and I think Kelsey kind of pointed to that. Just watching Jameis play, he was more accurate than what he was in college to me, without looking at the numbers. But I'm glad you said that about him,
and
Rick. Who had the Bears pick?
I'm up with the Bears. I'm up. No, I know y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna get it back in. It's quick. But Rick, I think the other part of being Deion's son is that the moment won't be too big for him. There's some guys that get swallowed up. They have a bad game. Everybody talking crazy about them, and now they're in their head. It's like, playing in Colorado. All of that came with it. But shoot, playing at Jackson, all of that came with it. Playing at the little Christian school he played at in high school in Dallas, all of that came with it. So, he won't be snowed under because of expectations of people rooting for him to fail. Those things he's had a part of his play makeup, since he's stepped onto a field. And so I think that also be something to his benefit. All right, I'm up with the Bears, and I'm gonna go Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, University of Texas. Now, if Genty was still available, then that's the guy that I think the Bears will really want to have. They did a good job in the offseason of shoring up their offensive line, which they needed to, but they still have maybe some stop gaps. And I believe that Banks is a guy that can fill in. He can be a tackle, potentially push in the guard, and provide protection for Caleb, because Caleb needed protection like he was a U.S. president, and he didn't get it last year. And I think that contributed to some of the challenges that he had. So I think shoring up the offensive line. Plus, if we look how the Detroit Lions were built and the new coach that the Bears have, he's inside out. That running game is ridiculous, and you build it from the trenches. And I think that getting a guy like that helps you to do that, and then you can maybe accelerate the development of your young quarterback.
So we saw, is Caleb will he be a superstar? Will he reach that potential?
I believe he can, but you gotta protect him, and you gotta protect him early enough to where he's not mentally broken to where he can't reach that level.
Rick,
the extreme case of that is Derek Carr,
right?
Where he got broken. Well, him and Heath Schuler are two guys I look at like
David Carr.
David Carr, David Carr, yeah. Where it's like, okay, even if they had the talent to reach that, when somebody in your lap every time you drop back to pass, you eliminate the ability to be successful as a quarterback in your formative years. So if they can get the line set up, I trust Johnson as a play caller. So if he has Jared Goff looking at times like an MVP candidate. So I'm like, you giving that, and that's with some old janky clay. Caleb Williams is that good stuff, and I think he can mold him to be a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something controversial. It may not be controversial, I don't know, but I like the pick though. I like the pick. Good pick. They got a short offensive line. I'm a big believer in building through the trenches on both sides. But and I even going back to college, I ain't that sold. I've always asked people, are y'all really sure Caleb Williams is that dude? Like, people really made him out as he was the next coming. And even in college, I just didn't see it. I really didn't. And I still don't. And so that I think is, yet to be seen. Of course, shoring up the line and give you a better clarity on whether or not he's really that guy or not. But, I'm not certain that he's necessarily ever. I don't think he's.
Who on the clock now,
No, he
baby?
can keep going. Yeah, he can keep going. No, you can keep going, bro.
Yeah, so that's, I think that we are projecting Caleb Williams to be Patrick Mahomes, where he may be more Derek Carr.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I got a problem with his maturity level. That's the thing I've always questioned and kind of watching him. And I know Greg and them laughing when I bring it up, but getting up in the stands crying in your mom's lap, that never sat right with me.
come on,
That just
man.
didn't
Come
sit right
on.
with
Don't
me. I
you
don't.
you're showing your age,
Hey,
man. You're showing your age,
and let
Dante.
me finish though. The whole fingernail polish deal.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I know you was headed.
Hey, bruh,
You're
bruh.
showing your age, man. He's a new dude, man. It's
You gotta
different
miss me.
rules,
You
man.
gotta miss me with some of this new age stuff, bro. I don't want that.
Nah,
I don't
listen,
want that. I don't want that from my CEO, my starting QB. I don't want it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the whole, and really not even the fingernail polish. Okay, fine. Do
yeah.
you be who you are? Do what you want to do. But the whole in your mom lap crying like that, bro. That's a level of maturity that was missing for me, and I just can't see it.
Well,
I just
how
don't see
you
it.
wanted to be? He's 20 what years old? The maturity is gonna come with
I've been
age.
20. Yeah, I'm old now, but I've been 21. And at
But
21,
man, hold on.
I'm
But
not
you,
jumping
hold
up
on,
in the stands in my
Dante,
mother's lap
you
crying.
you grew up in a different day and a different age. Hey, you grew up the crib. You know what I'm saying? There's a hardening that came with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like so you can't. That's apples and oranges, man. His
Man,
his
I
life.
get it, bro. I get it, but it's just something that just didn't sit right with me. Taking that person to be the head of my franchise.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. If Johnson can mold Jared Goff to look as good as he did, I
Yeah,
believe that Caleb Williams has at least those tools.
that's a whole lot of talent to go get to be Detroit. People forget that part. That's a lot of talent they have to go get to be Detroit.
Yes, but I'm saying just as a quarterback. So let's say you get. I mean, you're not gonna get a Sewell
Right. Right.
line, a solid run game. Then you can get if you got a Jared Goff level quarterback and can do what they are doing. I believe Caleb Williams can be a Jared Goff level quarterback. He don't have to be Patrick
Fair
Mahomes.
point. That's a
So,
fair point.
so that's where I'm like, there's still upside there.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Derek Carr. Yeah, so
Now on the clock, the greatest franchise known to man,
right.
the San Francisco 49ers are up next. Now, let me preface this by saying I think we should trade down. That's based on this draft and the way I've done a lot of research on this draft. From one guy I was listening to, one expert, a scout, he was saying the picks from like 8 through, I think he said 35 or 50. They pretty much have the same kind of grade.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Wherever you're picking, you know what I'm saying? So that lends itself to trading down in this spot. So, but like he said, everybody knows that. So finding a partner to trade down will probably be hard. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a challenge to do that. I don't trust. I wanted to take Shamar Stewart so bad based on those numbers and what he did at that combine. Man, that clay is, ooh, that's some clay to work with. But I'm going to go with the boy from Georgia, Jalen Walker.
Oh,
I wanted to
okay.
take Will Johnson, but our trenches, man, our defense last year, man, was a sieve at times. We got to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Do I think we'll address offensive tackle later on and defensive? Yes. But this defensive line has got to get fixed. That's the foundation of what we do. They got to
Yeah.
fix it. You know what I'm saying? And this
Yeah.
boy can rush the passer and play off-ball linebacker in coverage. So I'm taking him to kind of kill two birds with one stone.
As the other resident 49ers fan on this call, I like that pick. I've seen, obviously I watch a lot of SEC football.
Right. Oh,
Jalen
let me put him up here.
Jalen Walker I've seen him be unblockable at times.
Right.
I've seen production from him.
Right. Astor Stewart, no production.
Jamar Stewart, is
Underwear Olympian.
Right.
You know, he had what he had like 1.5 sacks each year the last 2 years.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And,
right.
Doo-doo.
and
I don't,
His
I don't care how much.
but his relative athletic score is a 10.0.
yeah, yeah. But you know, look like Tarzan, play like James.
James.
Exactly, exactly.
Hey, who he remind y'all of back at Bama, who looked like was getting the the accolades before he came in that spring, before he came in. Oh, y'all can't wait till y'all see this guy. I can't remember his last. I think his first name was like Aries Hall or something. Y'all remember that guy?
Oh,
Played at Bama back in like
I know who you. I can see his
98,
face. I know who you're talking about.
99, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Remind me of him. Was looked the
Yeah,
part.
yeah. He just not. I'm scared of Shamar Stewart, and yeah. So I agree with your pick, Dante.
Yeah, he scares me, man. I wanted to do it, man. But that dude's scary. It was for me. It came down to either Walker or Johnson, and to me, our D line is just more important at this point. We can find. So we got Ronaldo Green was a great pick last year. He's a great cornerback. Mustafa at safety. We can find some secondary people later on, but we got to
Right.
fix that front, bro. Got to. On the clock, raggedy ass Dallas Cowboys.
As the only illustrious member of the best franchise ever, the franchise that's worth over $1 billion,
A
well over
billion.
a
Yeah,
billion,
well,
Ten
yeah,
million.
well, listen,
Need
there's a
10
bunch of them
million.
over a
Okay.
billion. You got a couple over a billion.
well over $1 billion. The Dallas Cowboys out of Fort Worth, Texas, we select. Now this one
Yeah,
wasn't hard.
they're in Arlington, not Fort Worth.
Right. Do you even know where your squad
You
is?
don't need listen. You don't even know. Listen.
No, they're not in Arlington.
They are
They're in Fort
360.
Worth.
You get off on 360. It's between I-20. Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're come on, G. Come on, G. They got you. They done
Fort
whipped up
Worth,
on your head.
Arlington, Dallas,
They
the
done
Dallas
they done whipped up
Metro
on your head
area.
so bad that you don't even know what he's staying no more.
Pathetic showing in this draft by the Dallas Cowboys. What a pathetic showing.
They don't even know what home is.
Right. They don't even know they ain't been in the playoffs, so they ain't won the AFC championship game in so long they can't remember where they at.
That boy G so abused. He don't even know what home is. You,
Right.
Listen, man,
I
y'all
think
gonna
we
get
in
off.
Fort Worth.
We know where home isn't, the NFC championship game.
Son of a bitch. You sons of bitches, man. I swear to God. I can't. Hey, listen, man. When we back on top, just remember all of the bullshit you guys have given me over the last few
We'll
years.
be on this
Okay?
show
I just
in
want y'all to remember.
We'll be on this show
30
in rockers and rocking
with-
chairs.
listen.
Let's get to the pick, man. We need help at wide receiver. Even though the draft grades, even though the draft grades don't look like there will be, the draft grades are saying these are second and third year players.
Yeah, they're similar.
Which we have. Right. So I was moving toward selecting Jalen Walker.
No, you were not.
Yeah, that was why I didn't see that coming. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the guy out of Texas, Matthew Golden. Ran a 4.29 40 with 1.49 splits.
5'11", 191.
Going with the speedster.
Yeah,
Matt
I think
Golden.
that's a good pick. You know, I obviously once again watched a lot of SEC football, and every time I watched Texas, he jumped off my screen.
Yeah.
You know,
Rick, does he play? Does he play like he? Is his play speed the same as his
yeah,
40 speed?
Yeah, it translates. It definitely translates on the field.
Plays fast. You know, I was looking, looking for Isaiah Bond, but found Golden. You know, so and so yeah, I think to pair up with CeeDee Lamb,
right.
You gotta optimize your offense. You know, I'm a big believer in you either if you need a lot on optimize one side of the ball, mix and match, and then you end up with 8-8 or 8-9 or whatever. Try to optimize one side of your ball. And Dallas has been looking for a second receiver for a few years now. So I think that's
shouldn't have got rid of Coop.
A good selection. Exactly. Yeah. So
right.
Yeah, I think that's a good selection for the Cowboys.
Offense on the clock. I agree.
Got rid of Coop and ended up with Trey Lance.
Right, because because y'all brought in, who y'all bring in at running back? Y'all brought some Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams. The
Yeah.
thing about the running back position is, like I mean, I know y'all had some hesitancy about getting Ashton Genty so high, but we got they're looking at Amarian Hampton, Travion Henderson, and Quinshawn Judkins, who should be there in the second round.
Yeah.
I don't think Hampton gonna be there, but we'll
One of
see.
the three.
Hampton's not gonna be there.
Yeah, he's not gonna be there. I don't think he's gonna be there. But yeah, Dolphins, y'all in the clock.
Ooh, boy, the Dolphins, they once again another team that needs a lot. Dolphins, in one way or another, they just seem like a really soft team to me. I hate to say it about my guy, Tua, but their team just seems to lack a toughness that you need, whether it's mental toughness, physical toughness, what have you. So with that said, since they need so much, no better way to, fix your team than to build in the trenches. So I'm gonna go with Derek Harmon out of Oregon. I didn't know much about him until we started this exercise over the past, few weeks. And he, looked at a little bit of, the cut up tape on him online, and he is he's a guy that's hard to block. So I think if you can get somebody, stout in the middle of your defense to not only rush the passer, but also, hold up against the run, then I think at this point in the draft, as you said, Dante, is nobody that's jumping out at you. So, just build in the trenches and try to work from there. So Derek Harmon out of Oregon.
Yeah, because I'm like you when I researched him, because I didn't watch Oregon a lot last year. I think I saw the big game against Ohio State, and I might have caught him one other time where I watched the whole game. He seemed like he's one of those dudes, you know what I'm saying, who could be a force, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to say, but he did kind of jump off your screen when you watched him. He did make plays, so I can see that pick for the Dolphins. They, like you said, they need a lot. And look like they're shopping your boy at corner, Jalen Ramsey, so he won't be on the team. So they're shopping him right now. So they gave him permission to seek a trade. So yeah, they need a lot, man, especially when you got a concussion as your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that franchise not going. Man, Tua as the QB, I just don't see it, man. I don't see it.
Agreed.
All
Coach,
right,
you're on the clock.
I'm over the Colts. I'm gonna go Tyler Warren, tight end. The Colts need some O-line help, but to your point, Dante, once you get to this part of the draft, you got a lot of guys who are like bunched together.
Right.
And given that, I'm thinking that, well, you want to get the best out of an available bunch. And I think he's the number one tight end out of that.
Right.
Of course, there's this, they haven't had a tight end like my boy Dallas Clark in a while. So that could be a benefit to whichever starter, if it's going to be Richardson or Daniel Jones, or they're going to be back on the market for another QB next year. But just kind of getting a solid piece can help you as you're trying to build a franchise up. So
anybody believe Richardson can be QB1 in the NFL?
I believe he can, but they got to commit to trying to see if he can be. You got to deal with the growing pains. You got to deal with the immaturity, but you got to give him a shot. Playing him 3 games and then yanking him is not. You're not going to have any better idea if you yo-yo him. I think you got to put him out there, let him sink or swim, and say, this is year 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So I think you gotta commit to him for an extended period of time. If he's not the starter coming out of training camp, then you just go ahead and get rid of him. Because, but that's one of the challenges is Daniel Jones is going to look better at training camp because he's further along in terms of understanding defense and everything like that. So they got to kind of make a commitment to him, or go ahead and get off of him before everybody else realizes he might be not good.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot, Kelsey. Just talent-wise, I think he's probably, if you just put up a big board, Warren probably top 10.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Talent. He definitely jumped off my screen when I watched Penn State play. He
They was putting that boy in the Wildcat. They'll put him in the Wildcat.
Yeah, looked like he was the offense most of the time.
Exactly. So yeah, I think he has some Brock Bowers type first year potential, which will help any quarterback, especially if it's Anthony Richardson. So yeah, great pick.
All right, Greg, you got anything on them, or we can move on?
We can move.
All right, Falcons, you are on the clock. That would be me though. So with them, the Michael Penix era is really going to get underway this year. You know what I'm saying? They need what they always need to me. You know what I'm saying? Defense. Find some doggone defense, man. At some point, you got to find some defense. Again, this is another one I had a little bit of angst about because I'm just not a Shamar Stewart believer. I have a hard time with that one. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like Rick said, I believe in building in the trenches too. That's how I think you build a football team. And although this guy is more of a small school guy, when you look at his tape, and I watched a lot of film on him again, getting ready for all this, man, this dude get after the quarterback, man. And that's Mike Green from Marshall. Now, I know he has some red flags when it comes to some personal stuff. I think there's a sexual assault allegation that's been alleged or whatever. Of course, he denied it, the whole deal. Nothing came of it or whatever, but the allegation was out there when he was in school. So, but getting after the quarterback, man, he's got some bend to him. He reminded me a little bit watching him, that bend, the way he bends, kind of, what's the boy just played for us who couldn't get right? Alden Smith.
Smith, yeah.
That kind of bend to him, you know what I'm saying? Getting around that corner. And when you got those kind of guys, you know what I'm saying? I got to take a shot on it, even when he's from a small school, you know what I'm saying, or played at a lesser, division or whatever. So at Marshall, so in a lesser conference. So give me Mike Green from Marshall, man. So the Falcons, they need help getting after the quarterback, bro. They have for a while now. Ever since Big Beasley, it's kind of like they never replaced him, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He was never all that in that one good year, and he was never really all that for real. But I think Mike Green has a chance to be all that.
Yeah. I agree with that. As a Falcon season ticket holder, I haven't seen us blow many leads because you can't get after the quarterback. So
right.
and they, like you said, they've been chasing a edge rusher for 3, 4, 5 years now, and they let go of Eric. So so they really gonna need some help up front. And if you're gonna be from a small school, dominate.
Dominate.
Yeah, there you go.
Dominate, right. 17 sacks, 23 tackles for loss. That's dominating. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I agree. Cardinals, you are on the clock.
The Cardinals have already made their selection. It was made easier by the selection of Matt Golden. The Cardinals were looking at a wide receiver to pair with what's your boy?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison Jr. But they also need to add defense and looking to upgrade on the defensive line. Calais Campbell's getting long in the tooth. They got some solid edge rushers. So they're going to select with the 16th pick, Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. Old Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another boom or bust pick right there for them. But at this point in the draft, you might as well draft upside.
Upside, right? Exactly.
Yeah, because like you said,
why him over Shamar?
Well, again, you have someone that they need help in the interior of their defensive line, not on the edge.
Okay.
And you got somebody with some beef. Has long arms as well.
Yeah, I think we've all seen Nolan being from down here, man. Well, man, for me, it's like his motor is not constant, though. You know what I'm saying? That's my issue with him and watching him. We've all seen Ole Miss a bunch. You know what I'm saying? So,
well,
like, sometimes he jumps off your screen. Sometimes, like, he's playing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're definitely not getting an Aaron Donald out of this guy, but you can get a plug in. They got LaDainian Tomlinson, but Dalvin Tomlinson. Like I said, Calais Campbell is there. Ed Oliver. I mean, Ed Oliver's solid. He's right. Ed Oliver's solid.
Right. And has grown into a really good player. Exactly. Right. Exactly. I agree. That's a
But
nice pick. I
they-
don't mind this pick at that point in the draft. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
don't-
we had Derek Harmon on the draft board as well. Those were our, Derek Harmon, Matt Golden.
Yeah.
Those were some of our on our wish list.
Right. And
But,
like we said, a lot of these dudes are probably for these teams probably have the same kind of grade for a lot of these dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so he's the, Walter Nolan is the second ranked defensive tackle coming out.
I can see it. I can see it. Bengals, Joe Burrow and company.
Man, the Bengals we need defense, obviously. Losing games 38-35,
every week.
every week, that's just inexcusable. We just paid Chase and Higgins, so I don't know how much money we're gonna have to get a Trey Henderson, if anything.
Right.
So with that said, I think it's time we, once again building through the trenches, and if we're gonna be a high flying offense, we, hopefully get some leads and need to get after the quarterback.
Right.
With that said, I watched this guy a lot last year, and when he was healthy, he, was a dominant player. And I'm gonna go with Mykel Williams from Georgia. Him
I thought you was going
and Jalen Walker, they pretty much stayed in Texas's backfield for 8 quarters, of the 2 games that they played. They made another high pick in this draft, Kelvin Banks, look, relatively average.
Right.
So, I think that at this point, either to pair with Hendrickson or as a cheaper replacement for Hendrickson, but they gotta go defense. So I'm going with Mykel Williams from Georgia.
Yeah, that just makes sense, man. I'm with you, man. I don't think it's sustainable for them to have real success trying to outscore teams every week. Yeah, Joe Burrow's gonna put up historic numbers. Chase is gonna put up historic numbers. They're not gonna win until they find some defense. I'm sorry. The one year that everybody thought, oh, he made it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, the defense was really good that year. The defense was real. People forget that part. The defense was really good. Somebody's gonna have to coach up their defense because it looks like like you said, they decided to spend all their money on offense. So at this point, they're kind of in the same, I hate to say it, but they're in the kind of the boat we are. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to get younger and cheaper at some of these positions. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way they're gonna have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Young and cheap on defense. Do they have a Super Bowl window? That's the last thing I'm gonna ask about them. Because Joe Burrow, to me, has been living off that Super Bowl appearance. Can he get them back to a Super Bowl?
Their biggest
with
issue,
the weapons they got. Hell yeah,
thing. Yeah. I mean, the biggest issue is the conference. I mean, they in
right.
there with,
but that's why I asked, because you got a lot in front of you in the AFC to get there.
Yeah.
And you got the worst defense out of all of them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They got to build that defense. If they get a NFL caliber defense, just something that's comparable to an average defense, then they can win a lot of ball games. And
all it really takes is 1 or 2 good drafts. The Eagles were terrible defense.
Right.
And they were able to turn things around with some good picks and some free agent acquisitions, and then they were the best defense.
Right.
I think they can, because they have a guy at quarterback and a guy at receiver that, I think they still got maybe a 3 or 4 year window.
Yeah.
Okay. Seahawks are on the clock.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Josh Simmons, tackle out of Ohio State.
Interesting.
You got so you could go receiver there, but again, I'm not enamored in this space by a receiver.
Right.
Simmons, I believe, has, if his knee is legit, I think he had the knee injury. That's the only really knock on him. Otherwise, he is like a prototypical tackle. So you got Sam Darnold in there. Again, you got to run the ball, kind of protect yourself from him. But yeah, building in the trenches, best offensive lineman, best tackle out there.
Was it a patella injury?
Yeah, something like that.
That's
Yeah.
what I
So
read. And then that's why a
yeah,
lot of teams may
but
be scared away
yeah,
from
but that's the thing. Yeah. So they're effectively they're like, if his medicals check out, then what you see on tape
him.
is what
Right.
you want.
Yeah, 'cause they say on
So
tape he's a top 10 kind of talent.
yeah. And
Until
so again, we down here at what, 18?
right.
So I think that's probably the place where you're not reaching, but I think you get good value and with a lot of upside.
So all right, nice pick. But let's talk about Sam Darnold, man.
Okay.
Can he have the same success in Seattle that he just had in Minnesota?
No, because he ain't got that freak Justin Jefferson out there.
So what do you think the rationale? See, I agree with exactly what you just said. So what's the
Well,
rationale?
but you said the same success.
Well,
Can he still be
can he have any
successful?
success with that
Yes,
team?
I believe
Is
he
he as
can.
good as Geno?
I believe he
They
can have a similar. I believe he can have a similar
Yeah.
arc as Geno. Meaning, when he
Okay.
came in, it was like it didn't look really good early on, but
Well, he
for
already did
various
that.
different reasons.
He's
Yeah,
already
I'm
done
saying,
that.
but I'm
He's
saying,
already
but
had
he's
his Geno.
well, no, but Geno did it multiple seasons. With Sam Darnold, it was like, oh, maybe
Can
he
he
got
be
the keys.
consistent with it? Yeah.
Like it's like, did he get the keys to a Ferrari, and that's why it looked
Does
like
he
he could
have?
drive,
All
or
right, I get you.
does he
I
really
get
have
you.
his driver's license?
Yeah. Does he have staying power? Can he
Right.
Yeah,
be
Right.
a real option at quarterback?
I've seen enough of Sam
Gotcha.
Darnold. I feel like the Seahawks are in total rebuild mode right now.
Yeah.
The
I
pumpkin
see
man.
nothing. So I think they're just buying their time with a relatively cheap option, someone that is competent but below average. And they're just waiting till they can find a quarterback of the future.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. I'm not sure. I think Sam Darnold is going to look like Sam Darnold again this year. That's just my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Buccaneers, that's me. We are on the clock, and I'm making this pick. This is not even about need. This is about just player at this point for me. Will Johnson sitting there. I'm going to Will Johnson because to me, I think he's the best cornerback in this
yeah.
draft.
That would
Um,
be if he not drops. I
yeah,
don't
if
want
he
to say that,
fall
but I'm
that
saying if he's
far,
available there,
yeah,
then But
because I
that's
think
a
they
nice
need.
pickup.
I think they're really thinking receiver or somebody on the D line or something. But if he's still there, there's no way they
Yeah,
wouldn't take him. You know what I'm saying? If Will
yep,
Johnson is sitting there at 19, because
I
to
hear
me,
that.
like I said, I think if it weren't for the injury, I think we'd be talking about him maybe top 3 or 4 in this draft.
Absolutely,
Not for his
I completely agree.
he's the definition of a cover corner.
Mhm.
He's definitely a cover corner. You know what I'm saying? That's what he is. That's what he does. He has the size at 6'1", 194. He's got the movement skills. So it's a no-brainer for me with the Buccaneers. If Will Johnson happens to slide this far, you got to take him. You know what I'm saying? You got to take him at this point in the draft.
Can I make a caveat here
Sure.
about the use of the term slide? It's like,
Yeah.
is it did
Yeah.
it? It's like you don't.
Yeah.
It's like you only do the draft once. So it's like if you did it 8 times and he got picked twice. I mean, picked in like 6 of those 8 times, and then one time he slipped to 18. Then it's like, okay, that's a slide. But sometimes it's just kind of how the board develops,
How the
how the
board
draft
develops, right?
develops. Yeah,
Exactly.
so it's
It
not like he
could very
slipped.
well develop this way, right?
Yeah. I don't think this is like, oh, I'm debating between him and somebody else, and I don't really like Will that much, so I'm gonna go with
Right.
another guy.
Right.
That it's not even that type of thing. It's just more you're looking at
I
the
think
team
Tampa Bay would
needs.
be ecstatic.
And they'd be ecstatic too. Yeah, absolutely,
19,
absolutely.
if he fell that far. But
Yeah.
so I think that's
But
no
anyway, I'm sorry.
with them at this point.
Caveat. Yeah.
Yeah, a
Broncos.
lot of this is a
But go
lot of
ahead,
this
D.
is position. A lot of this is position oriented. Um, so with I think the Broncos they 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 really have a well-rounded team. They have some positions that need to be updated, namely at cornerback. And with you picking Will Johnson off the board, we're gonna have to go with Jade Barron at Texas. Jade Barron.
I actually like him though. I like him as a player. You know what I'm saying? For Texas,
You
he's
you went
another
cornerback.
guys who you know what I'm saying? When you watch them
Yeah,
play, you see him. You know what I'm saying? You see him.
they
Yeah,
they could use a
He's
good
probably gonna be
they
more
can
of a
use a
slot
good
guy in the
star
pros. He'll
cornerback.
be more of a
Yeah,
slot
yeah.
guy in the pros.
Yeah, they could use a good star cornerback.
Yeah,
Let
he'll
him
be a
really show
nickel
up 'cause
corner.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they got Surtain though to lock down
Oh
whoever
yeah.
that best
Right.
is, you know.
it's the other
Eh,
side of the field that needs shoring up.
right.
Let me ask you this: Why not running back or wide receiver?
That's why I thought he was going on Marion Hampton right there for real.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, again, this is a deep running back class, and I think they'll be able to get a running back in their second round.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
mean, Marion doesn't separate too much from Quinshawn
Judkins
Judkins to
and
me.
Yeah,
Henderson.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
I get it. Got this. Oh no. Okay. Now we coming to something.
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
First
Let's.
Now we getting to something.
A lot of questions surrounding Pittsburgh right now. Number one, quarterback position. As of now, I'm gonna make the pick with the assumption that they're picking Aaron Rodgers, or signing Aaron
Oh,
Rodgers
okay, okay.
is
So you willing to make that assumption?
I'm gonna make that assumption. But either way, they Pittsburgh needs a lot. They have two receivers. They need a running back, but it's too high for a running back right now. So once again, I'm gonna shore up the offensive line. I know they want to ultimately run the football, play good defense. That's been Pittsburgh for the last 50 years. So I'm gonna go with Tyler Booker out of Alabama as
Big
a
boy.
good run blocker. Be able to sort of help with whoever the quarterback is, be able to help open up some holes for the running game. And so I think that shoring up the line in lieu of a obvious pick at another position of need.
So the obvious
Sure,
question here is
never hurt.
no Aaron. Let's say they don't get Aaron. Let's say they don't know by the time the draft roll around. And let's say Shedeur is gone already, like he is in our draft. Shedeur is out of there. Is Jalen Milroe an option? Should he be an option?
I'll put it like this. He probably shouldn't be an option.
Okay, at least you said
But
it.
you think he
Be
is?
an option.
Okay, at least you said it. Thank you for saying it. I wanted to see if y'all Bama pride was gonna come out and not let you say it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right.
Last year, I think he is a slightly more polished version of Anthony Richardson when he came out of college.
Very slight.
He's definitely got more reps in college than Anthony Richardson.
Right. He got more good tape than Anthony Richardson.
Exactly. And so we all know the question marks around Jalen Milroe. Now, like I said, I don't think he should be a first round pick, but I really have a feeling when we get here next week, somebody's gonna want that upside, that arm, and
it's funny that he accepted the invite to go to the green room.
Right.
Yep. Right.
So I think he's still gonna be sitting in that green room when the night ends on Thursday.
You think so?
Pittsburgh. Outside of Pittsburgh, I don't know who else would pull the trigger on him.
The two at the top that didn't take quarterbacks, the Giants and the Browns, trying to trade back in.
Not in the first round, though.
You want them in the first round because you want the fifth year. So financially, these teams it's beneficial for them to trade back in.
I'm glad you said that, Dante, because when we talk about first round caliber quarterbacks, I think we're thinking talent, but it's not just talent. So if you're saying like it's financial and it's also situation.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's financial. It's more financial because you got that cost control. You can get them for relatively cheap. You can get off of them for relatively cheap. So why not just keep firing or buying lottery tickets and say, okay, this ain't nothing. Throw it in the gutter, go find another. Because you're not making some extended commitment where you're using up all of your cap trying to get those guys. So from that perspective, does he have enough upside to make it worth the gamble to buy the lottery ticket? I say yes, simply on the fact of the tape from the Wisconsin game and for the first half of that Georgia game. Because when I saw those things, I was like, oh, he done found something. Now, I don't know what happened, but all that stuff went out the window, the mechanics, the fundamentals. And so I'm like, did he get panicked and then therefore just kind of went back to what felt comfortable? But I saw some of the stuff that he was doing against Wisconsin and that first half against Georgia. I was like, all right, this is when you pair that with the arm and the straight line speed. I'm like, oh, you got a weapon.
Right. So
So
as
the
a
question is,
prospect, do you
was
compare
that
him to Jalen?
no, I don't compare him to
I'm
Jalen
saying, how
because
would you coming out? How would you compare him to Jalen?
I felt that Jalen had that year where he was able to kind of sit and work on his craft. That 1 year, and then he was able to go and work with Riley and have some more exposure where he was throwing the ball more, which I
Right.
think helped to at least level him up a little bit. Whereas and kind of get his fundamentals tighter,
Okay.
and where he wasn't just like, all right, I'm looking one way, and if not, I don't see that, then I'm running.
Okay.
And again, I don't know what happened to Milroe, but he was a different dude at the beginning of the season than he was by the time you get to Oklahoma and that Michigan game.
After
It was like he
after
completely
that Georgia
regressed.
game, after that miraculous play through to Ryan Williams, it was
Well, no, well that's the second half. I'm saying the first half
yeah
he was doing things
yeah
that was like, this looks like legitimate quarterback play in terms
he
of I
he
know where I'm
actually
supposed to
did
go with
look
the
good.
ball.
And
Go
you
ahead.
know,
He actually looked good against Vanderbilt too.
he
We just
did.
lost that game. The defense was
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
exactly what I
Yeah.
was about to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
You know, I was at that game and
Mm.
he had the ball for 19 minutes and scored like 35 points. You
Yeah.
know, other than that fluky interception, pick six,
Yeah. The little pick six was
really well that game. You know,
So
but you know, without getting into the details in this venue, you know, there, you know, from people I know and trust, you know, I understand that there was some personal uh that have with him, you know, between him and his
lady.
significant other.
Okay.
Um, and so, you know, like I said, not for me to spread on this,
Yeah.
but you know, that may have factored into what we saw,
Yeah.
especially in the Oklahoma game.
Okay.
You know, where he just totally broke down at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. He was it's like night and day because I was having legitimate conversations and draft evaluators at that point were like, hey, he might be the first guy taken because he was playing like where his eyes and feet were married up. All of those fundamentals were there. And then, like I said, by the time you get to Tennessee and then Oklahoma, it's like,
Okay.
it was not deer in headlights, but it was
Right.
kind of just I've regressed or I don't trust my training. And now it's just I'm just out here just trying to ball on athleticism and
Right.
Somebody can
Chargers, y'all on the clock.
what'd you say, Rick?
somebody can tap into those highs, you know,
Yes.
never
Then
Oh
see
yeah,
then it's
you
working.
got
Yeah.
something. You definitely got
Yeah.
something if you can do it. But I think
Yeah.
3 quarterbacks will go in the first round, though. Maybe 4, but definitely 3 are going in the first round. But
Okay.
Chargers, you're up.
Charger on the clock. Yeah. Quickly, I'm gonna go Colston Loveland. Out of Michigan tight end. Of course, the Harbaugh connection. The thing is, Justin Herbert needs weapons. You got Lad McConkey out there, white boy out there, Cole, but he out there by himself. And they need some more dynamic weapons to throw the ball to. And Loveland is the type. And again,
Well,
Harbaugh.
I
Go
saw
ahead.
some draft grades that had Colston rated higher than Tyler Warren.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're close. The fact I saw Tyler Warren back there in the Wildcat, like it was high school, and it's like, man, whatever. Just who's the best player out here? Put him back at quarterback. We're gonna give him the ball and we'll let him create. I didn't see that from Loveland, but as a tight end, I feel very comfortable with him. And I think that's another weapon for Herbert to have to pair with Lad McConkey. So yep.
All right, with the next pick, the Green Bay Packers. Now the Packers are a solid team. They're a pretty solid team. Everything I see them mocked has them taking a wide receiver. I don't understand it myself unless they're just completely done with your boy Watson because of the
Chris.
injuries and Christian
Mm-hmm.
Watson can't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But the way this board has fallen, this dude gonna have to go and come off the board because he's going. He's going in this round. Probably not this far down the board either. but Shamar Stewart, I'm gonna take the edge. It's just the talent. We talked about it. I mean, it's one of those things where he's the ultimate boom or bust. If you can mold him into something, if you got a defensive line coach who's really good at what he does, this is an all pro waiting to happen.
Question: if you didn't take
But
more, who would you take?
say again.
If you didn't take more, who would you take there?
I was probably gonna go either with Jahad Campbell or Emeka Ibuka, the
Okay.
wide receiver.
Okay.
Yeah. I was really thinking hard on Campbell. I think Campbell's gonna be a player. I really do think he's gonna be a player. No Alabama hate at all. I think he's gonna be a player. Yeah, he's gonna be a player. I think in the pros, he's really gonna be a player. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Stewart, it's just the talent at this point.
I hear that.
The athleticism is there, but Vikings, y'all on the clock.
I'm gonna make it real quick. We got two choices at safety. We got Malachi Starks, or we have Nick Emenwari,
South Carolina.
And I'm gonna go with the more athletic
sir.
guy.
Yes, sir.
More explosive guy.
Yes, sir.
Nick Emenwari.
Yes, sir. That boy 6'3", 220 with a 10 RAS too. Here's another Shamar Stewart.
But I'm saying, did you see the
production? Production though.
He popped off the screen. Hey, he was a man child in South Carolina.
Yeah, he was.
A man child.
Now 4.382 at safety at 220. Boy, stop.
Yeah.
Boy, stop. He might go higher. Because we looking at, if you look at, his measurables and you look at his athleticism, there are a lot of
you got defensive coaches thinking what I can, but what scares me about him,
right. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes top 10.
I'm thinking Isaiah Simmons.
Where you can't figure out where to put him?
Yeah, where to put him. That's gonna be the thing for me. Can the defensive coach figure out where to put? Because I think I went straight to Isaiah Simmons when I looked at him and saw him. I'm like, dang, they look like Simmons to me.
I can see that comparison, but I think he does have a natural position at safety.
Okay.
And he has the versatility to maybe drop down in the box.
Yeah.
Right.
With the way that the defenses are these days running those 4-2-5 schemes, he fit perfectly.
He can definitely cover.
Traditional 4-3.
Cover tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. Definitely.
Yeah.
Who we got? Texans.
Oh man, Texans.
CJ Strouds.
Yeah, so so Texans, they lost Laramie Thompson in the off season. Big glaring hole at offensive tackle. However, no one rated this high, or rated high enough to worth a late first round pick. Like you said, ideally this would be a trade back situation.
Right.
But one other need that they have is receiver. Stephon Diggs is gone. Dale hurt. So I think they pair up the old Ohio State teammates. I'm going with Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State.
Yeah, and that's definitely
good pick.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. They got to do something after that horrendous injury from Tank Dell, and like you said, losing Diggs. They got to do something at receiver at some point. I'm with you though. I think they would be one of those teams that Cleveland or the Giants jump back up in front of in this round. I definitely can see that happening. Rams, interesting position. And they got a hell of a draft last year.
Based on the way things fell, and I like what they did on the defensive line.
Man,
if
both of them.
Listen, if Jahad Campbell is available here, I'm signing him up. So they for two reasons. They have a need at off-ball linebacker, which he plays. But then you also get the plus of he can put his hand in the ground and rush the passer, which adds to what they already have.
Right.
So I just like that. So if he is there,
right.
Listen, I'm sprinting that pick. I'm like, no. As soon as I hear whoever picked before us didn't pick him, I'm running up to the thing because I think that would be a fantastic addition to them. Right. And kind of building up that defense, they're young, kind of have them all on the same timeline. I think that'd be a great pick.
That boy got a 9.88 athletic RAS score.
Okay, can I give you my one hesitancy with Jahad?
Yeah, go ahead.
That play against Vanderbilt, I can't get it out of my head. That boy put his helmet in that man's chest and drove him 4-5 yards back in the end zone. Now, everything else he's done, I love him, but I'm just like, that was the one play I was like, what happened here, bro? I'm like, we're at the goal line, bow your neck. And he just got walked into the end zone. But other than that, no issues with him. Run to give him that pick.
About that. So like I said, I was at that game.
Yeah.
My wife's cousin is the defensive line coach for Banff.
Okay.
We were on the field before the game. I'm watching both teams warm up. Alabama just looked totally lax. Like
lackadaisical.
It looked like they were still living off the high of the Georgia win. And
the Kalen DeBoer effect.
Man, stop.
Nick Saban wouldn't have let that happen.
That's not no. That's not the Kalen DeBoer. That's the not Nick Saban effect.
What's the
any other coach? No. You said it was because of him. I'm saying it's because it wasn't Saban.
What's
right? But I'm saying it's because we're saying the same thing.
No, we're not saying the same thing. What I'm saying is, if it was Jim Harbaugh, I'm saying if it was Newt Rockne, it'd have been the same thing. Nick Saban's skill, he eliminated the highs and the lows of college players. Anybody else has to deal with it. Everybody else has had to deal with it. Everybody else.
What I'm saying, Kelsey, is that it wasn't Nick Saban, and because we have Kalen DeBoer, we have to blame him. We don't know what Will Muschamp would have done, or
we do. We've seen Will Muschamp's team go up and down.
What's your boy?
We've seen Kirby Smart's teams go up and down. We've seen Lane Kiffin's team go up and down. We've seen Ryan Davis' team go up and down.
I guess I'm giving all the credit time for my Nick Saban is one of the most overrated coaches in history speech. Then,
man,
hey, eliminate him. Hey, moderator, get him out the chat. Get him out the chat.
Hey, America, please take this podcast seriously. We want to make sure that we know and that
we'll save that for another debate.
Doesn't smoke.
Yes, we'll say that
drugs, but he might have smoked a little. He might a little.
420 said he got his package a little bit early. Okay.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy, Dante. That was real crazy.
And the damn Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. My favorite pick of this draft, next to the 49ers.
Let's talk about this guy while y'all picking. Go ahead.
No, go ahead and talk about him while I make this, because I'm deciding between two right here.
I'm talking about Christopher Bride next.
Nah, he can't defend himself. Don't do that. Don't do that. I've been on the other end while I was talked about on this platform and could not respond. And I was Cuba Gooding Jr. swinging at the air because I wanted to get at you.
But I think they have to go Malachi Starks. I think.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that feels like a Ravens pick.
Yeah, it does.
That is it.
But I will say I'm not sold on him as a pro. We'll see. He's got a definite nose for the football, but we'll see. We'll see.
So I got a partner who played DB at Georgia, and so we've been talking about him. And this year he did not perform like he did last year, and that concerned me because he had all the hype and should have the experience in terms of this is a
3-year starter,
the 3-year starter. He was supposed to ball, but he didn't really ball this year like it's supposed. He had actually some games that he had some questionable angles he took. Now he got better as the season went on, but that was a little bit concerning for me, for him to be like on a level like a Caleb Downs, like that type of level, but then not to see that type of performance for the entire season. That was a little bit concerning for me.
He came in, very highly rated this year. I had my doubts after I saw Ryan Williams put him in the blender, out there and for the game winning score, and he took bad angles that whole game. It was like he was surprised that Mill rose fast, like he never seen it. And so, he took bad angles. He couldn't get off blocks very well. So, and like Kelsey said, he got better as the year went on. But, I think in the end of the first round, considering, once again, highs being highs and lows being lows, if you can tap into highs, I think that's a good pick to pair with the other safety that
Hamilton.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions are on the clock.
Ooh, all right. So
the NFC favorite.
it gets down to the nitty gritty, man. So we picking between linebackers. Which one? Uh, you took Jihad Campbell. I had him high on the Detroit Lions draft board. Next rated linebacker we had was Carson Schwessinger out of UCLA.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but they got a couple of them type guys on the team. I think
Yeah.
he would go.
No.
He
You
would
got to go
go
with your boy from the
there
Orange.
in their defense. I'm about to say the James Pierce out of Tennessee
Got to.
on that edge. Now
Got to.
they released Zadarius Smith, and they still waiting on Aiden Hutchinson to come back. He would be a plus defender in that defensive scheme with Aiden Hutchinson on the other side of that line. So yeah, James Pierce out of Tennessee.
Yeah, explosive pass rusher, man. You really don't. They got to have it. You know what I'm saying? I think they found out last year. Your boy Hutchinson can't be your only pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? That's not a feasible way to go about building your defensive line with one pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? Same thing the 49ers are finding out.
They had a bunch of injuries though, because they was getting
yeah, they
after
did.
Hutchinson went down, they was still getting pressure.
Yeah,
Now
because
they
the D
did get
tackle went down too. The big D tackle in the
yeah,
middle down too. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So yeah. I was about to say Redskins. See, that's old school right there. Commanders are on the clock. I was about to say Redskins, but
Commanders, obviously a surprising season.
yep,
I think that they, definitely overachieved, based on the previous year. Obviously their biggest need is going to be defense at all three levels.
yeah,
So, at this point, they really need, someone who can help on the interior of the defense specifically. And so, with that said, I'm going to go with the Tyleek Williams out of Ohio State. He, is at this point in the draft, like I said, in the last maybe 10 picks, at this point, you're looking at upside.
right,
You're not going to find any sure things at this point in the draft. Um, and so at this point, you have to depend on athletic skills, and hopefully you can coach them up.
right,
I think, he was up and down throughout the year, had a lot of, inconsistent play. But once again, the highs being the highs, if somebody can tap into that, then, you may have a steal at the end of the first round.
absolutely. I guess the question about the Commanders for the group is, can Jaden duplicate what he did, or so will he elevate to superstardom, or will he have a sophomore slump?
I don't see him having a sophomore slump, to be honest with you. Obviously we've all seen a lot of Jaden Daniels, last 2 years in college, first year in the league.
Right,
And, he seems to play well under pressure. There were a lot of pressure situations that they were in last year. We had to bring them back or had to score at the end of the game to win or what have you, and he was able to step up to that, vast majority of the time. So I don't really see, especially now that they've added some talent, I think that, he's just only going to get better at this point.
right.
Yeah, I think the better question is, will Cliff Kingsbury have a sophomore slump?
Ooh,
Because I think in Arizona, he would have some innovative stuff, and then people would
yeah,
figure him out. And
the league will
he didn't
catch
have
up.
a he
Right,
didn't have a plan B or a counter.
right,
But Daniels made a believer in me at LSU. I mean, like what he did effectively, it was him and the crew on offense, and they balled. Defense gave up the goodies, and
right,
he would still
right.
go out there and score by 50.
Yeah, that's why I
He
like the pick. They gotta get some more stout on that defense for real.
Yeah, but yeah, I think he's the real deal. He's slight of frame, and every time he get hit, it looks like a Looney Tunes cartoon when he get blasted across the field.
Right.
But no, I'm a believer in him.
Yeah,
It's
I
I just
agree.
like I'm like, will Cliff be able to stay ahead of the game or call a game that accentuates his positives?
Right.
That's my bigger question.
I agree. Buffalo Bills, you're on the clock.
Uh, well, Buffalo. needs to shore up the defensive backfield, and I really like Trey Amos here. Amos, an Alabama guy who abandoned us when Nick left, but he went over to Ole Miss and had a good season. He's played in multiple different systems because he was Louisiana Tech, I think, before he came to Alabama. So he's played in multiple systems, been solid in every single one that he's been in. I think he was actually he might have been the transfer that hurt second to Caleb Downs leaving Alabama.
Yes.
Because he,
Lord.
I think, because I think he would have locked up, and we wouldn't have had to put a freshman over there. We could have had Damani and Trey, and I think would have been.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think the Bills, they lost most of their secondary over the past couple of years. So I think this will be a good refresh.
Somebody, your boy came back, Tre'Davious White, and I saw they signed him to a 1-year deal. That's a kind of a stopgap kind of deal.
Yeah. But yeah, when you're in stopgap mode, you need to refresh the position. And
what I'm noticing though is I think we all have the same thoughts on it. We like production over just the talent because Revel got way more talent as far as athleticism. But
give me some.
Not the same, right?
No,
right.
I would. Well, it depends. It depends on where it's being taken.
Right. Exactly.
If I'm in the third round, maybe I'll go, hey, this guy has just some tools and more twitchy or whatever.
Right.
But at this point where I'm looking, I'm like, I need this person to actually be a starter
and contribute. And
I'm also trying. I'm not just trying to maximize my upside. I'm also trying to raise my floor.
Right.
And I think Amos is a guy who I'm like, all right, I won't be scared to put him out there. He's been in the wars. He's played against some other NFL talent and been able to hold his own and excel. So, yep.
I feel you. So now, Kansas City Chiefs, the losers of the Super Bowl. This is a tough pick for me, but because I don't know about this guy. I've seen him play a couple times, but from everything I read, I think here they would have to take him. They got to do something about the offensive line. I think they see it. The world saw it. Everybody sees it. You know what I'm saying? The offensive line, they need to fix it. So I'm going with Josh Connolly Jr. from Oregon. I think he's going to be a solid pro. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, it's just need. It's more need here. I've never been a big fan of team unless the need matches the talent. I've never been a fan of just going straight need in a draft. I want the best players you can get. We'll figure the rest out later. But in this situation, I think the talent is there and the need is definitely there. So I got to go with Josh Connolly Jr., tackle, Oregon, for the Chiefs.
Let me ask this: you ever considered the kid out of North Dakota?
I did. I did. I don't like – I know small school linemen make it all the time, but over a guy that's in the Big Ten, nah, I'm going to have to go.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? For me, it's just that simple.
Okay.
The level of competition, I'm like you, it means something to me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Fair enough.
And last but not least, Super Bowl champions led by Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles, the last pick of the draft.
Last pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. What was that? I didn't hear you.
Oh, you back. You were on mute, but you back.
Okay. Yeah, we're going with Donovan Izuraku. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Out of Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
Good edge defender, can also play stand up in the linebacker position.
No,
they lost. Who was that linebacker they lost? That I can't think of his name. But he came off the bench at the beginning of the season and definitely played well, especially in the Super Bowl. I can't think of his name. It'll come to me, but
lineman or linebacker?
A lot of linebacker.
Oh, because they lost with that Milton, who had a pretty good game. What's his name? Milton, the big boy.
Brown or something.
Milton Brown, something like that. Yeah. But he was a D lineman.
Yeah, D tackle. Yeah, mm-hmm. Milton Williams.
Yeah, they could go D tackle too. But I think some of the best defensive tackles went off the board: Graham, Nolan, and Harmon.
Now that's one spot in this draft that's really deep is D tackle. There's a lot of second, third round D tackles. Alfred Collins. There's a lot of D tackles.
Kenneth Grant You got Tyleek
A
Williams.
lot
I
of-
think Rick
yeah.
picked
You
him.
get the other boy from Ole Miss, Prince.
Then you got Darius Alexander, a lot of D tackle.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, good pick, good pick. So we shall see how close we are. I think we got a lot of those right, though. I think the rationale on a lot of those is right. You know what I'm saying? We definitely appreciate the help on this mock draft, Mr. Kelsey, Mr. Washington. We definitely
It
appreciate
was a
you
pleasure,
coming.
gentlemen. It was a pleasure. We
Definitely
got
a
to get
pleasure.
y'all
Yeah.
back on.
Listen, y'all are a lot more sensible when it comes to drafting than your personal football takes, or definitely your basketball takes, or your cultural takes around basketball. I was like, I found you to be. I'm like, this is actually good. So I'm
Hold
like,
on,
okay, you are
Kelsey.
reasonable.
We actually be on the same side on a lot of these arguments. It's just mostly the Cowboys is where we defer.
Well, I'm
But
saying,
most of these arguments, especially in basketball, we kind of we
well,
aligned a lot.
we've been running into some challenges around the compensation for college athletes. So we gotta
Oh,
figure out how to get you on
so
the right
yeah,
page on
so
that.
here's what I was about to say. We have to get you guys back on for our episode. It's going to be called State of the Play,
Right.
which is
State
going
of
to
play,
cover
college football.
State of Play. College football is going to cover NBA basketball, about the eras, the difference in the eras, and
Yeah.
why some people consider this a trash era. Namely, my co-host, Mr. Dante, and then also third, we're going to talk about quarterbacks, NFL quarterbacks, and why the salary for quarterbacks is so high. It's ridiculous. So yeah, we got to get both of you gentlemen back on. We'll let y'all know the date. I can't wait to hear the analysis and the differences of opinion, because that's what makes
Oh,
debate
it's
great.
definitely gonna be a difference of opinion on that day.
Oh, listen. And I already see about Dante. Dante, he like loose with it. So he'll say something that's supposed to be complimentary, or he doesn't think it's as bad, but he's like, it's trash. I'm like, oh, that's not
He
good. Oh, well, it's
he
all
is
right.
the king. He's the king of backhanded compliments.
Oh man, listen. He is an extremist. He's like, oh, it ain't that bad, but it's trash. I'm like, well,
Kind of trash like this Nick score right now.
okay, yeah. Listen, hey, you just wait. Boy, you just wait. You
But for
just
all
wait.
y'all,
What's the score?
Hey,
agency.
listen, just make sure, like you said, don't run. Just
Oh,
make sure
I'll be here. Hey, you
I
know
see you.
I'll be.
I see you in the group. Okay, all
Right,
right,
you know
okay,
I'll be. Hey,
okay.
thanks for everybody for watching, man. Trash talking with the old heads. Do
Hold
not
on,
forget
Rick.
to hit that
Hold
like
on,
and
Rick was
subscribe
saying
button. No, I'm
something.
gonna let Rick finish. I just want to get that like and subscribe in before I forget. Go ahead, Rick.
Pistons only got three or four more games left in their season anyway, so you won't have to wait long to find you.
Listen. You around there, down there in Cancun, sharing suntan lotion with Wimby. So the Spurs, you have nothing to say about anything that we have going on.
Hey,
So
man.
I'm hoping his TV is tuned into the same thing that you and me are watching, which is the Pistons in the playoffs.
Hey, shout out to Pop, man. We sending our prayers to Pop.
Yeah,
He had a health scare recently, and he's been battling a lot of health issues. So
Right.
we got to give our shout out,
I
send our
want
thoughts and
him
prayers
to get
out to the
right.
great one.
Yeah, definitely a legend. Absolutely. As a Spurs fan, definitely wish him nothing but the best, man. But thank y'all for tuning in, man. Trash talking with the old heads. We out of here.